into zakuthi mabandla akwantu mabandla akwantu nina bohlanga ndiyacamagusha nguJambase lona nguHlathi gulisa ngumSuthu nguCanzi nguSanzanza esanzonza kwathi gqi kwavela umntu ndingumabona bulawe ngathi ngumthakathi uSiduli ungube mhlophe amabandla kuloluncu amabandla kulomwandla umando wafikela uhlangeni singozaba ke thina omfene mazabiyo zabelo abafokazi amamfene ke abantu bemfene mfene ezahlukana xa kutshona ilanga singohlathela ingothiwa ke selivutha lothiwa zimfene kuba imfene zibaninilo dumelang madume from Botswana madume nakimuthu wa Motswene kumuthu wa Khiba wa Khamadi ya Phofolo Motswene lilimi lintsu ke ukhuma ditlhare amamfene ke ngamabandla kulo Khiba amabandla kulo Khamadi amabandla kulo Likokoto ya ndikumtshana emanzothweni konyelenzi komaphango konqale konqake nqanqasini koxuxa koqhamu kowele liyobe phambili ke impunzi kaSeva ngumtya nethunga kokwasemanzothweni oyini bafazi bentshikizi lentsholo nayiphazama nithabatha isidoda ngoma lihlatyelwe isifazi ndingumtshana mna konziba nkulu into zika YouTube kontaba into zika Hili konabele emntwini komgqwetho ngamanzotho ke ngabo onyelenzi isihlobo zika Khawuta isihlobo zika Gcaleka zinkomo zikambiko zikamancamo zikamlawu ndiyacamagusha ke kumantlane ndiyacamagusha konhlanga konqabane koziqelekazi ongqungqusho ohlamba ngobenda amanzi ekhona ndithi chosi ke kumampehle kocabasho onkomo zibomvu kumakhulu wam ke lowo ntombi yasemampehleni yazala umama mabandla kulo Dikana mabandla kulo Libisi into zakulo ibeka wakulokani mampehla madoda ntombi emhlophe ntombi emfutshane igama layo ke nguSigcawu bamaziyo bathi nguSinawunawu welcome my people. Today I want us to talk about amaXhosa. Ngobani amaXhosa? Who are amaXhosa? You know, people talk about Xhosa. If you're from Eastern Cape, it's Xhosa. We've already deciphered that Eastern Cape there are many nations. Amampondo have always been independent as a nation. Amampondo Mise have always been independent as a nation. AmaXesibe have always been independent as a nation. Way before the colonizers arrived, we had AmaXesibe, they were independent. Amampondo Mise, they were independent. Amampondo, they were always independent. In fact, I'm glad that I took some time to talk about these people because when we say amaXhosa, there are two layers to ubuXhosa. There's the layer of Xhosa-speaking people, which means all the nations that speak isiXhosa today. All the nations that speak isiXhosa today are known as Xhosa-speaking people. But Xhosa-speaking people come from many different nations. They come from many different nations. So they don't come from just one group of people. We've touched on Amampondo. We've touched on Amampondo. We've touched on Amabomvana. We've touched on amaXesibe. All these are 4 different nations and they are all independent of each other. They all have their own leaders, their own royal families. But they speak isiXhosa today. So that means they are Xhosa-speaking people of different nations. And then you have amaXhosa, the actual Xhosa people now, which I don't think many people are aware of. And this is what we're going to talk about today. Now, lineage, iminombo, is not wrong. Lineage is there. All the nations have lineages. You go to the Nama people, they've got their own lineages of kings. You go to the Kora people, they've got their own lineages of kings. Even Xhosa people, they have their own lineages. Amampondo, they've got their own lineages. Amampondomse, they've got their own lineages. Khotoba, greetings everyone. So when we go through lineage, it's not wrong. I may criticize lineages because it's too shallow. And also the names, some of the names are not people. But lineages are important because a lot of lineages are very much correct. They are correct. So that is what I'm going to talk about today, amongst other things. I need to go through amaXhosa. It's a big nation, amaXhosa. They are a big nation. amaXhosa are in the Western Cape, not because they are looking for jobs, because it's their home. amaXhosa are in the Northern Cape, not because they are looking for jobs, because it's their home. They were there long, long ago. amaXhosa are also in the Eastern Cape. All the three Capes, Western Cape, Northern Cape, Eastern Cape. You understand? amaXhosa were in the Sweetveld, they were in the Seerveld, they were in the Karoo. We'll go through all of this. And I'm not talking about Amampondomse or Amampond or Abatemba. I'm talking about Xhosa, proper Xhosa. They are in all these different areas. Xhosa by blood, like from the lineage of amaXhosa. And then you have Xhosa speaking communities now in Northern Cape, in Northwest, Free State, akhona amaXhosa. Botswana, akhona amaXhosa or Xhosa speaking people. And even in Zimbabwe, there are Xhosa speaking people. We know how they went there in the times of Cecil John Rhodes. But today I'm talking about Xhosa in particular. And it's how we do it in this house. Okay? We start with music, Tina. We use music to align our spirit, Ukulungisa, ezo ndawo izinamaqhonqa. Ukuthundeza, ezo ndawo izinamaqhonqa. We align the rugged parts with music. So when I play one song or two, please tap your screen and share the live. And I'm gonna share my screen now. We're gonna go through the lineage, and as we go through the lineage, we will decipher the names. We will tell the stories of these people, who their descendants are, and where they are today. But before that, there's a question: why bengabuyi aba baseZimbabwe emninzi kangaka umhlaba Eastern Cape? So this individual is asking why the Xhosa speakers in Zimbabwe, why are they not coming back to South Africa? I think majority of them are just rural people. I think majority of the Xhosa speaking people in Zimbabwe are rural. So for them, where they are, they see that as home. They don't see the need to come back to Eastern Cape. But yes, originally they are from Eastern Cape. Bakhona, for example, I think there's a family yakwaQhinebe. There's one family yakwaChawe. There are many Dlamini families. I think akhona Mabele as well. A lot of Amahlubi akhona. So yes, they are there. They are there. Greetings. Amazizi, yes, in huge numbers actually. Another questions. And Xhosa is produced by the interactions and mixing of Nguni tribes with Kwe people. Nguni people are Kwe, so I don't know what you mean. But also, what is Kwe now? Because you have Kwe who speak Kwemana, who speak Kwe Gwab. You've got Kwi who speak Kwinkia. You've got Jew peoples who speak Jew Nkwansi and Kha languages. You've got Kho who speak Takan. So it's different people. Not everyone calls themselves Kwe. There are specific groups that call themselves Kwe. Like Nama people, they are Kwe because they speak Nama Goab or Kwe Goab. Like Kora people are Kwe because they speak Kwe Mana. People like Amanahwana, the Gwashu Place, the Gwashu people, the Dama people, or the Daman or Damara. Those are Kwe Goab speakers. They are Kwe peoples. But then we have Ganga people. Ganga people are not Kwe because they don't speak anything with Kwe languages. They speak Kwinkia. You've got Xhosa peoples. Xhosa peoples have nothing to do with Kwe. They are Kwi. You've got Chwa peoples. You've got Shwakwe. You've got Khakia. You've got, Ngqwa. You've got also Omani. They have nothing to do with Kwe. They speak Kwinkia languages. So Kwe is just to say people who speak Kwemana or Kwe Goab or Kwadi languages. That's what Kwe means. It means people who speak a specific language. Just like Nguni means people who speak Nguni language. It's not a race, it's a language. Or people who lived in specific areas. Like Nguni means highland. In Kwemana or Kwe Goab, highland simply means Aunin. It means Tsaunin. That's what Nguni is. Tsaunin, highland dwellers. You've got Amadebe. Debe means those who cut their faces. You've got Amazocho, those who twist their hair. This is not anything to do with race or bloodline. It's just to say these people have this habit. Now you can go into the bloodline of those people, you realize it's the same people from different groups. Same people. So Xhosa is a culmination of many different groups under one kingship. Just like AmaZulu, they are a group of people under one kingship, under the line of a specific king. So this is what I always say. When we talk about Xhosa people, Zulu people, you must understand that the true measure of their identity is their allegiance. Is their allegiance to the Zulu royal family. Nothing more. They can be even European Zulus. There are Zulus of European descent, like the Dans and the Ogles. Those people are European in origin. In our culture, you are what your father is. The Dans and the Ogles are Europeans. They are British people, but they are Zulu because their ancestors had sworn allegiance to the Zulu royal family. We've got Xhosa people of Irish descent, Oskoji, the Scottish people. I'm a French, I'm a Cane, I'm a Ogle as well. They are Xhosa because they swear allegiance to the Xhosa, but it's not some race that you can use to say the Xhosa are not Kwe. It's not true because Xhosa is a group of different people. Within Xhosa, there are British descendants. Within Xhosa, there are Dutch descendants. Within Xhosa, there are, Nkosiyamntu descendants. There are Xhosa Qais. There are Ngconde descendants. You have Kora descendants. Within Amaxhosa, we've got Chwaukwe descendants. So when you talk about Xhosa or Zulu or this, you must understand that it's not some race that you can use in shallow racial arguments. It's not true. That's just not how it works here in South Africa. It's not how it works. All these people are just different groups that are under one royal family. So that's what Xhosa people are. They're under one royal family. Even I myself, I'm not Xhosa by blood, but I'm Xhosa because firstly, I live in the land of Xhosa people. I live in the land of Xhosa people, KwaNgqika, the Ngqika Xhosa people. Secondly, my ancestors have been there maybe for 200 years now. Before that, we were Tembu. We lived in the land of Tembu people in a place known as Ngcakak. That's where my ancestors lived, in Ngcakak. Before that, we were independent in the Drakensberg, in the Singur River, in southern Lesotho. So I'm Xhosa today, but not by blood. So I'm not racially Xhosa. It's not a race you could use. If I go to Xhosa land, I swear allegiance to the Xhosa king, I become Xhosa. That's how I became Xhosa myself. I was not Xhosa originally. My ancestors have their own language. They have their own language that has nothing to do with Xhosa people. 500 years ago, I was not a Xhosa person. So we must, we must stop using these groups, Guni and this and that, as some mega group that was moving along and invading land. It's not true. These groups are just different people who come together under certain royal families. So what we do when we talk about the history of these people, we talk about the history of the royal families and act as if it's the history of everyone within that federation. When we talk about Zulu history, generally, we're just talking about the history of the Zulu people of Malandela, the royal line. Yes, these are political superstructures. They are political superstructures. So I'm gonna go through the Xhosa lineage of the royal descendants. I'm gonna go through the Xhosa lineage now. So don't say Xhosa is a mixture of Nguni and Kwe. There's no such a thing. Because Xhosa is too many different people. You've got Kora, you've got Inkwa, you've got Gcaleka, you've got Nama, all of them, they are Xhosa. You've got Ngconde, all of them being Xhosa. You've got Amachawe, you've got Europeans who are Xhosa, from French, from British, from the Scottish, all of them, they are still Xhosa to this day. So we didn't look what race you are. As long as you can fight for the king, you become part of our nation. As long as you can fight for the king, you become part of the nation and you get a name. There are many people who would have been called colored, but we took them and like, no, you are Xhosa. For example, the Xhosa prince, Umakoma, his closest ally His most loyal ally was a man called Henry Halter. You would call him colored today. But we never called Henry colored because we knew he was basically African of mixed heritage. They were in what we call the Waterkloof today. The Waterkloof today. But he rebelled against the British and joined the Xhosa in fighting the Ngcika people under uMaqoma, and he became Maqoma's greatest ally, Henry Halter. There are many others before, and they all have indigenous names, so you wouldn't even know their race. Because even Europeans in our societies had indigenous names. The influence of San groups in Xhosa culture and language is quite evident. But there's no San in Xhosa culture. We don't know what San is in Xhosa culture. What we know in Xhosa culture is that there are humans. Some humans do hunting. Some humans do pastoralism. Some humans do agriculture. Some humans are more into metallurgy and mining. So we don't differentiate between San culture or Xhosa culture. For us, it's the same thing. Do you get it? You don't understand it. You're trying to differentiate between what you call San and what you call Xhosa. In Xhosa culture, that is the same thing. It's in European culture that it's two different things. In Xhosa culture, what you call San culture is Xhosa culture. There's no difference between those two things. The cutting of the finger is my culture. Europeans are like, oh no, it's San culture. No, it's my culture. It was given to me by my ancestors. We cut the small finger. Uqaphula, the cutting of incisions into the skin so that you can hunt better, is my culture. It's not San culture. Because there's no San. We don't know what San is. What we know is that it's humans. These are indigenous African humans. Some of these indigenous African humans have words that they use to refer to themselves. Some say, when they say a person, some say umtu. Some say kwi. Some say kwe. Some say kwa. All of them simply means a person. So that whole thing of Ubuntu is not just a black thing it's all indigenous Southern African people. They are literally people. That's what they call themselves. There's no culture in South Africa that doesn't call themselves the people. Even the languages, when we say there's Kwe Mana, Kwe is people, Mana is language. Kwe Mana means the people's language. When we say Kwinkia, Kwi means people, Kia means speech, the speech of the people, Kwinkia. When we say Takan or Tukan, the language of the Kho, Tu means a person, Abantu, Ba, Tu. Kan means to speak a language. Tukan means the people's language. Isi Ntu means people, a person. Isi, the manner. So Isi Ntu is the manner of the people in which they speak. All these things, Kwe Mana, Kwe Goab, Nama Goab, it simply means the people's language. There's no other way that the indigenous people of Southern Africa altogether, that they identify themselves. They've only identified themselves in one way, the people. They've only identified themselves in exactly one manner, as the people. So when you find words like koi koi, it simply means the people. Kwe, the people. Kwi, the people. Abantu, the people. Vatu, the people. Vanu, the people. Ebandru, the people. Ebanvu, the people. All that you find in all indigenous nations, in all native nations, we call ourselves one thing, the people. Because there's nothing that could be more important than that. Then what you get is, within the people's nations, there are specific leaders, royal families. Under those royal families, there are armies that are organized. That's where you find now izizwe nations. The nations are just armies of the kings. Gamabandla, the armies of the kings. So the kings are leaders through historical conquest or through whatever thing they did to, maybe their elders or whatever. But the kings organize people under themselves. They protect each other. They hunt together. They eat together, which we call budlelwane. Budlelwane is the word we use for relationship. But the word budlelwane simply means to eat for each other, to eat with each other. Ukudla is to eat. Udlelana is the reciprocal form. I eat for you, you eat for me. So budlelwane simply means those who come together to eat and to commune. We form budlelwane through marrying each other, through eating together, through hunting together, and ultimately through fighting together. Anyway, let me now play one more song. Please share this live. We're gonna get to it. Don't worry, I will address these things of Bantu and Khoisan and what. I see there's a lot of new people. But let me play a song. I can't start without playing a song. It's one more song and then we're starting. Welcome my people. Welcome. This is Usandile. Usandile ke uzalwa nguKhunku. uKhunku uzalwa nguSigova. uSigova ke uzalwa nguGoqoza. uGoqoza ngumzulwana kaThukani. Umfene ulisa ucanzi usanzazi ohlanga omvelweni. Babona bulawa ngathi ngumthekathi malelwa izintombi zithi mfo county zeke. Uluncu umwandla umandu wafikela uhlangeni. Ndingowa kulo mayikana wakwavimbisa. Ndiwakwarhale mgodleni, ndiwakwageqa amatshe. Ndiwakwapheka iqhakuva ngengxawana, wakwapheka iphemphem ngengxawana. Xhosa. Welcome my people. Welcome. I'm trying to read I'm trying to read the comments, but I can't. There's too much being written. Someone's saying this guy looks like me. Yeah, I know he does. Someone is asking, was there a slave master called Rider? So Rider means a rider. Someone who rides. Like, it will be someone who rides maybe like a horse. That's what the rider means. So it would have been an ancestor maybe who was a watchman or something. Yeah, but it would have been that ancestor. That's what rider means. I'm going to answer the other questions later, guys. People want to know about Khoisan and Bantu and all that. I always address that every time I have a live. I think that's the one thing that people are interested in. This Khoisan thing. I don't know why. Guys, this thing of Khoisan is not going to help in anything, It's not going to make you... I don't know, man. Like, you can't use Khoisan as an argument. History is history. It's not something you can use. All native people of South Africa are indigenous here. You don't need to claim to be Khoisan to be indigenous. We all descend from Kui-speaking peoples. All native ethnic societies. All of them. There's no society that is indigenous to South Africa that was formed outside of South Africa. You could look at Bavenda, you could look at Vatsonga, you could look at Kora. All these people descend from Kui-speaking peoples, the so-called San. These are the forefathers of all Southern Africans. Here's the thing. In fact, I'm not going to be distracted. If you want to learn about this, I'm going to show you my YouTube channel. Go to the YouTube channel. There's a series there that I did. Just come to my YouTube channel if you want to know about Khoisan and Bushmen and all those things. This is my channel, Sandile Tukani. Go there, subscribe. You see this one, it talks about Mpondo people, Indian people, Moors and shipwrecks. This one talks about Mpondo Mise people. Anything you want to know about Mpondo Mise, I talk about it here in 2 hours. This one talks about Mpondo and Mabomvan and Makasibe. Anything you want to know about Mpondo, come here. Don't ask on this live. This talks about South Africa before Jan van Riebeeck. This talks about Abantu, Abatwa. This talks about Trump people amongst the Xhosa. This talks about the phenotype of South Africans and the genetics. The phenotypes of South Africans and the genetics of South Africa. So if you want to know the DNA, the Bantu DNA and Khoisan DNA nonsense, you come here, you watch what I'm saying here. Talk about indigenous clans. You can go as much as you want. There's even one session you see, this is a part 5 series that talks about queer people. This is a 5-part series that talks about queer people. I promise you, whatever you're asking me, I've already answered. Whatever it is that you want to know, I've already answered it. I don't have a doubt. Just come and watch. You have to be patient if you want to learn. You see, this is part 1. Queer people on the east of the Drakensberg. Part 2. Part 3. You see, this is a dark-skinned descendant of Xhosa. Xhosa speakers. Xhosa speakers. This is a Kunkia speaker. Quite people, this is part 3. This is part 4. It looks like my nephew, by the way. And then this one is part 5. So there's a 5-part series. This is the name of the channel. It's my name and surname, Sandile Tugani. Sandile Tugani is the name of the channel. So please, guys, if you want to learn about these things, you can't always be asking every live, what is Khoisan? Come on, guys. No, man. Well, no, we need to do better than that. Now, there's someone who's asking why we don't have a king that's bigger than other kings. I don't know what the context of your question is. I don't know who you are talking about when you say why we don't have a king. Who's we? Is it Amamfen? Because I'm fan now. So if you're saying we and including me, you're talking about my people, Amamfen. Who are you talking about when you say we? Amahlubi, I will do them, don't worry. I will do Amahlubi, I will do Abatembu. I will do Amalala. I will do all those people, including all the way to Mapungubwe, the vendor and all that. Today I'm talking about Amaxhosa. Now, Amaxhosa, who are they? I did talk about Amabhaca. It's there on my videos. Amazelemu and Amawush, I spoke about them. Who are Amaxhosa, guys? Because, you see, it's dangerous to not ask these questions, especially when we start to have stereotypes about people. For example, right now in South Africa, if you talk about Zulu people, there's stereotypes. Zulu people are not educated. Zulu people are not intelligent. You think we're all from KZN. Sometimes it's banter, but sometimes it can be, harmful. Because who are you referring to when you say Zulus are this? Same thing with Amaxhosa. Yo, Amaxhosa, hey, Amaxhosa, Impondo, Xhosa. People are insulting each other. Who are Amaxhosa? The first thing I said I would explain is the name Xhosa in and of itself. Now, if you go 200 years to 300 years to these Xhosa-speaking people and you ask them who you are, the most likely answer you would get is that, no, singamangqika, we are Ngqika people. The other ones would say, hayi, sina singamambalu, we are Mbalu people. The other people would say, hayi tina, hayi tina singamambede tina. Into zakulo mbede. We are Mbede people. Others will say, hayi thina singumncancathelo. Hayi thina siyintsonyama into zikabhurhu. Uyabona? This is how Amaxhosa would identify themselves. They wouldn't say Amaxhosa. No, they would probably call themselves by their king. For example, me, Dilingqika mna. If I'm talking to another Xhosa person, I'm not going to say, Ndingumxhosa. No, Dilingqika. Into zakulo ntsinga kaNomagwayi wasembo. Into zakulo zamazama ilizwe lizamazama usibala mdaka usambatha zimfutshane kanti zomlingana kube izinto uthi zimfihla amadolo usingasiyaya mhla singasimhla sisiya Xolo bentonga. That's the Xhosa that I am. I'm not some vague group called Xhosa, because the truth is that the whole thing of Xhosa it's being used. It's more like a social media thing. But if you went to Xhosa people, they would identify themselves with the king they served. Ngqika, they would say Ngqika. The people of Maqoma, they would call themselves Amajinqa. You understand? The people of Maqoma would call themselves Amajinqa, etc., etc., etc. That's one thing. That's how Xhosa people think about themselves. They do know that bangabantu. They will say singamabandla akwantu thina singabantu bakwantu. You understand? I see the same thinking amongst the Amazulu, by the way. But Amazulu, they are more towards their Zulu identity than their clan. But their clan also amongst themselves is of great importance. For example, Amazulu will say, Inkuku yesiZulu. This is a Zulu chicken. This is the exact same thing you find amongst the Amaxhosa. Umqombothi, it would be called, or traditional beer is called utywala besiXhosa. Traditional food, ukutya kwesiXhosa. Traditional chicken, inkukhu yesiXhosa. And I know I'm going to deviate a bit. I was talking about this just now, that it's actually the correct way, because if you go to countries that focus on cuisine, like France and Italy, you go and you want to buy champagne. What you think is champagne here in South Africa, and what is champagne in France are two different things. There, champagne is linked to the region of Champagne. Each and every food is named according to what region it comes from, and it can only be made in that region. Same thing when we say inkukhu yesiXhosa, imbiza yesiXhosa. It makes sense because it preserves the cooking, the spicing, the flavoring processes of the specific group. So I think we should go back to that. I know I'm deviating, but I think we should go back. Inkukhu yesiXhosa, it must stay as inkukhu yesiXhosa. Don't say, no, inkukhu yesintu. It's inkukhu yesiXhosa because there's a specific manner in which it is prepared. So I was just thinking about that just now, recently. That's how you protect your culture. That's how you protect your cuisine. That's how you protect your art. You gatekeep it by limiting it to the people who invented it the way it is. Even if there's something similar to it in another culture, that's theirs, it's not yours. Now I see people from Nigeria all of a sudden have pap now. They cook pap now. It's no longer fufu. Do you understand? No, we're cooking pap. There's no pap in Nigeria. There's fufu. And now we have umqa. We have umqa. Anyway, now who are amaXhosa? amaXhosa are descendants of uMalangana. uMalangana is said to have been this ancestor who lived in the 1560s or in the early 1500s. I don't know much about uMalangana. I don't even know a place called uMalangana. If anyone in the comment section knows of a place known as uMalangana, please tell me. But what I do know is that the same Malangana you find amongst the amaXhosa is the same Malangana you'll find amongst the Mampondomse. uMalangana, which means little days, little sons, Malangana, little days or little sons, you find the Mampondomse, you find kwaXhosa. Now, some people say it refers to the Karanga. It refers to some Karanga society that joined amaXhosa in their ancient history. But I don't think it has something to do with Amalangeni. No, I don't think so. Because Amalangeni, gabantu bakamlangeni. So, Malangeni simply means the people of Umlangeni. Or abantu baselangeni. Yabo. For example, kwa Dlamini, you've got uDlamini Nkosi, uDlamini Zizi, and uDlamini Sibalukulu. All three of them. Baphuma kumlangeni, an ancient ancestor called Mlangeni. EsiXhoseni ngulangana, little son. Yabo. Malangana. You find uMalangana exactly as the same one eMampondomseni. Kulowa machawe ke lona. uMalangana. Malangana is said to have given birth to this ancient son called Nkosiyane. Nkosiyane or Nkosiyamntu. You see now, you find a similar thing amongst the Amazulu when they talk about Nkosinkulu. You realize that in our culture, a person can have many different names. We just remember one, Nkosiyamntu. But you find that maybe Nkosiyamntu had other names. Maybe Nkosiyamntu was uMalangana. But asiyaz, but that's what oral history gives us. It gives us Malangana and Nkosiyamntu, the people's king, or Nkosiyane. Those are the two most remote ancestors of amaXhosa. Now, people have even said amaXhosa themselves come from the Nguni. However, it's hard to find this in oral history. It's extremely difficult to find this in oral history. I only find this in the history of missionaries and pastors who wrote after having been influenced by A.T. Bryant. A.T. Bryant, the reverend who was there in KZN, wrote a great deal and tried to divide so-called Nguni people into groups. Oh, there's Nguni Embo, there's Nguni Lala, there's Nguni, no man. Now we know Nguni means up or high slopes. So people who occupy high slopes are known as Abenguni. It's not just, now people are trying to say Abambo cannot be Nguni, which is stupid. Because Abambo, they are Nguni. For example, Amahlubi, who were there in northern KZN in ancient times, who were living in Zululand in ancient times. who were living in Zululand in ancient times, Amahlubi from Elubombo, they have a clan known as Onozulu. No Zulu and Nguni mean the exact same thing. When you say no Zulu, it's someone who's up. Nguni, Mpafane, Tukela. But Ngabambo, but they call themselves Nguni. You go to Swatini, they don't know the Swati Abambo. Paya Swatini, you find a lot of people, for example, Ohlagalovu, Omnguni Bangasentla. They are called the Northern Ngunis. So Nguni is a culmination of different groups of people. It's different groups of people who would occupy highlands. You find the same thing amongst some of the Cape Town nations, especially the nation that fought the Portuguese in 1510. They are called Kuri Kwa. Kuri basically is Zulu or Tulu. Hi, Kuri. Kuri is Tulu or Ezulu. Kuri Kwa. Kri is Ikhiba, a house, a clan. Kwa means people, like the essence or the habit of the people, as in Umukwa. Sorry guys if there's a noise, there's a machine here, but it's almost done. So when you say Kuri or Kuri Kwa, you're saying the high clan people. Kuri etulu, ezulu. K Ikhiba or case. Cape or case is Ikhiba, a house, a clan, a group of people, a branch of people. Kwa is the people themselves, their habit, their essence. Kwa. Uri Kekwa. Uri Kekwa is the top clan people, the Highlanders. These people are there. They were in Cape Town. They have affinity to the Kora. They literally murdered the Portuguese in 1510. They murdered the Portuguese in the Battle of Salt River. This is the people who occupied Rondebosch and Woodstock and Lispik and all these places that are being sold to Amazon today. This is the land of the Kurikaikwa. They murdered the Portuguese. They pushed them all the way to Pardon Island and they unalived them. The Portuguese never came back and tried to colonize. They were murdered. They were beaten up like nobody's business by men who were riding cattle. The Kaikomako, Amakeku. So the Kurikaikwa are highland people. You go to Namibia, you find the exact same people. Owning, exact same name. Owning Ace. Instead of Ori, they say Owning, which means Ekunini, Enguni, or Enguni. The Koni people, the Owning people. Owning Ace, the people who are highlanders. In Afrikaans, they're called Topnars. It's the same thing you find in the name Nguni. It's not just Nguni. The name is there amongst Bavenda. The name is there among Sotho-Tswana groups. The name is there among Zulu and Xhosa and Zunda and Tekela groups. All the so-called black people in South Africa have a version of Nguni in their nations. Amongst Bavenda, it's called Vangona. Amongst the Sotho-Tswana, can you hear me, guys? Can you hear me? My network says I have good connection. That's the thing. It's literally green. I can see it. It says good connection. That's so weird. Please, guys, give me feedback. Ish. Hey, Freedom Front people, please leave the live. Grunewald people, please leave the live. You see, now you're going to make me angry now. Elon Musk! Go to hell, young boy. I see you, Elon Musk. I see you. I see you. Yo, Murskont. Ik sal jou donor. Boytjie. Ik sal jou donor, my lady. I will answer the Griqua people, guys. I will answer, don't worry. So, Batswana say they come from Matsieng, right? And Matsieng is at the border of South Africa and Botswana. They say they emerged out of holes there, together with the giants, the Marimo, the giants, the monsters, the Mazimu. But Batswana say they came from the lands of the Kuni peoples, which we know in Kwe or in Kwe Goab, in Kwe Mana, it's Oni. In Kho, it's Oni. It's Ngoni, Koni, Wangona, Abengoni, Amangoni. It doesn't mean those who don't sin. It's a word that generally means a northern or higher land position as opposed to a coastal position. Now, we moved between the coast and highlands, but it's clear we liked the highlands more because I think it gives you a better view. That's what Nguni means. It's found across all the different groups, which means we all are the same people, one way or another. We come from the same literal bloodline. So, Amaxhosa do also allude to it, but I think this history is hard to find. It's hard to find in Xhosa oral history where we say we are Nguni, but what we do say, we refer to the land where we occupy as Ebunguni. That's what I know from Amaxhosa. All oral poems of Amaxhosa, Mibongo. For example, when they talk to a king, when they're praising a king, they'll say, Sisilo esaziwa ebunguni, bombozone ebunguni, which means this is the beast that is known all around Bunguni. So we always regarded the place that we occupy as Bunguni, which is Bukoni. You go to this place they call Zalo Yelanga. It's also called Bukoni. So I always say, Ubunguni basically is South Africa. So now Amaxhosa therefore will refer to their most remote ancestors as some Nguni, and then Malangana, and then Nkosiyamntu. People say Nguni gave birth to a son called Xhosa. But here's the thing. We were not there. Nobody knows who Xhosa is. Nobody knows when Xhosa lived. There's not even a place called KwaXhosa, like a place like a kraal where Xhosa lived. But there is a place called KwaNkosiyane, which is Nkosiyamntu's kraal. So that tells me that Nkosiyamntu or Nkosiyane is more believable as having been an actual human being who lived. Malangana is more believable as having been a person who lived or a group of people. Because you can find Malangana also amongst Amampondomse. But you can't find a person named Xhosa or a place or any evidence, which tells me that Xhosa was more than just a person, but a group. It's a group. Oh, they're like, oh no, Xhosa. Xhosa means the angry ones. Let me share my screen so that we can decipher the meaning of Xhosa. If guys, my network is lagging, please let me know. I will deal with it immediately. Let's deal with the meaning of Xhosa before we go into the lineage of Amaxhosa. Let's start here. I've taught you guys that, in ancient times we had what is this thing? Gendered nouns, right? So some nouns end up with B, some end up with S. The B nouns are masculine, the S nouns are feminine. I repeat, the B nouns are masculine, the S nouns are feminine. So you have words like milk, for example. Milk, it's ubisi, but if you go to like Kora or Nama, you also find bib for milk, which means bisi and bib, it's the same thing. Bisi and bib is the same thing. It's milk, but bisi has a feminine ending and bibi has a masculine ending. The original word is B. It's B. That's why we have a river, the Milky River. It's called Bicha. 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 Because it's B for milk, Cha for abundance. Bicha is the abundant milk. Also, when there's too much milk, we call it Bingala, When a cow releases too much milk, we call it bingala. B is milk, ngala is too much of something. So B clearly is the original word here. Same thing with Xhosa. See, I told you that Xhosa is a verb, which means to make ready for a journey, to prepare for a fight, or for war. It is literally Xoba, to prepare for war, to take to arms, to be warlike, basically. And then Ixhoba is that which is taken from the enemy in time of war. Cattle, for example. Yes, ngala also means to take too much of something. Ukungala. So being ngala is the abundance of milk. Ukungala most is to put a lot of something in when you're putting a lot of it. Ixhoba, that which is taken from the enemy in time of war, for example, cattle. Or it's a spoil from war. Booty, a trophy. It's also something old. Now, you need to understand, there's another word here, izixhobo, which is weapons for war. Ixhobakazi is great spoil, large booty. What did we say? It's cattle, spoil. People who have spoils from war. People who have spoils from war. Those people, we call them amaxhoba or amaxhosa. People who are warlike, who are war ready, you are called them amaxhosa. But also there's an element to this name that means excellence in war. Let's see. Let's go further. Yes, it's exactly that. A warrior nation. People want to spin the narrative and be like, oh no, they're the angry people. They were angry at the Bushmen. Unfortunately, there's no history. There's no history that suggests anything like that. Let's go to, for example, to Qora. And Qora, and it's a completely different language than, Qora are literally Xhosa themselves. We have a lot of Qora there amongst the Maxhosa. Let's go to Qora. Let's see what Qora has for us. Just give me a minute until I find this word. I can't see properly. But I'll find it just now. It's almost there. We'll find the word. Someone is saying, we have a click sounds in Xhosa. How were we angry at Bushmen? But click sounds are not Bushman sounds, most. Click sounds are normal African sounds. You see, even that idea that click sounds are some Bushman sounds, even that is wrong. That's a lie. There's no Bushman sound because there's no Bushman. There's no such a thing as a Bushman. There's no such a thing as a Bushman. Look here. Xho is to be angry, to be malignant. Xob, remember I told you, Xoba or Xhosa is the same word. Xob is anger, aggression. And then Xhosa is harsh, rough, heavy. But this describes like a surface. This one, Xhosa, it's not Xhosa, it's Xhosa. It describes a surface like a bag that is rough, with a rough pattern. Like a bag that is made out of grass. Now, I want to show you another one. There's another one here. Xhosa, Xhosa, Xhosa. This one, in terms of pronunciation, is more Xhosa than the other one. Is more Xhosa than the other one. I don't think you can teach me on this subject, Professor. Trust me, I don't think you can teach me on clicks or indigenous languages. That's the last thing you want to do. The last thing you want to do is pretend to teach me. You're only going to embarrass yourself. I'm telling you, clicks are an indigenous African sound, indigenous human sound. It's not a Bushman sound. There's no such a thing. Clicks, all indigenous people of Africa used clicks in Central, East, West, and Southern Africa. That nonsense is not going to, it's not going to work here. If you need some time to go and study this subject, go and study. Don't comment because now you're just sounding damba and damba. There's this word here, Xhosa. It means a skilled, capable, and brave person. I told you, Xhosa means skilled and capable and brave warriors. The brave warrior nation. Here it is here. Someone is saying, Sisi Xhosa is. Yes, this language is Xhosa. It is Xhosa. Hey man, who's this person trying to enter my life? I'm not holding a debate session here. I'm teaching. This is Xhosa. So when they tell you about, oh, Xhosa means angry, that's stupid nonsense. There's no Xhosa that means angry here. Let's look at another word in Qora. You see, this is Qora. It's Qau, which means to cut. Ukuti Qau, oh, Qaula. Qau Qaub. Qau Qaub. It's basically a man who cuts things. Umsuki, the one who cuts skins. Qau Qaub. Qaub is likau or ikaba. Qau Kaba. The man who cuts things. So that is the name Xhosa. Don't ever go around asking people what does Xhosa mean. Today you know, brave warrior nation. Now, I've already told you about Umalangana and Nkosiyamntu. There's a place called Nkosiyane, actually, in Eastern Cape to this day. There's a place called Nkosiyane. Let's check it and see. Let's check it and see if we can find this place. Let's see. This guy. I'm from Central Africa and I know my people don't make click sound. Even West Africa or East. Yeah, that's because you went and colonized people who speak click sounds and pushed them south. That's why they don't speak clicks now. That's something you need to know. You are the ones who colonized Africa. Bloody Bantu migration, stupid fools. Can't even think for yourself. Who invites these fools on my lives? I don't want these people. I'm not here to talk about Africa. I'm talking about my people. I'm not here to talk about Africa, guys. Like anyone who comes here telling me about Africa, I'm not interested in Africa. I'm interested in the land of my ancestors. So there's a river there in Eastern Cape called Umatishe, a rivulet flowing into Nkosiyane. Yes, Nkosiyane is a river as well. It's named after Nkosiyane. Nkosiyane is a river or tributary of Umnqesha in Piri, in Ngconde. So this place is in Ngconde. Here's the place where my ancestors used to live, in Ngcaleka, a tributary of Ngabach in Dutywa, hence the town of Dutywa. This is an old name of Dutywa, was called Ngcaleka. So we can see there's evidence of Nkosiyane. Now, from Nkosiyane we get these three figures. We get Tsicha, we get Chawe, we get Jwaga, and Qwambi, the fourth figure. Qwambi today are a clan amongst the Xhosa. I'm going to start with Qwambi because not much is done talking about them. Now, guys, you would have not met these people in your life. It's very rare to meet these people, Xhosa, because you see, the setup of the Eastern Cape is such that even the people you know from Eastern Cape that are famous, most of them are not Xhosa. I'll give you an example. Fikile Mbalula, Mpondomise, Xhosa speaking, yes. But Limpondomise, Fikile Mbalula, Uqengeba, Umajola, Umphankomo, Ujolinkomo. Zozibini Tunzi, not Xhosa. In fact, she's originally from KZN, Amatolo, Omchenge, Ozulu, Omabhani, Ovumbalempongo Lianuka. Amatolo, they are some of the oldest clans from the Drakensberg. Tolo means the Jew, Umbete, Amazolo. That is Zozibini Tunzi, the former Miss Universe, Miss South Africa. Another famous person from Eastern Cape. Now, there are some people who are Xhosa that, even Gaba, they are not Xhosa, they are Qora. So, when we say Xhosa, all these clans that are here, these are Xhosa clans, right? It's not exhaustive. There are many that are not here. I'm going to mention them. So, from Qwambi, we get a couple of generations. Someone is asking, is Ndlela also Mpondo? Ndlela. Bakhona Ndlela bangamahlubi. bakhona ndlela bangamaqwathi. So it depends which ndlela you are. Hlubi, they are not Xhosa, they are Hlubi. In Eastern Cape, there are Hlubi under the Xhosa kingdom, which means those on Eastern Cape are Xhosa, but originally Hlubi are not Xhosa. They are Hlubi, that's it, that's their nation. Imipembe, they come from Imihuhu. Anyway, let's do this, guys, because I know you guys, your questions never end. Sorry, guys. This is the stuff that we should have been taught in school. We were not taught in school. Gcaleka, bakhona Gcaleka bangamaXhosa, yes. Bakhona baphuma kwindlu kaToyise noDom. Qwambi, a couple of generations after Qwambi, one of his descendants is a person called Jelwayo. From Jelwayo you get the house of Cweya and the house of Rharhabe. From the house of Rharhabe you get Chanabe, Tyala and Mpako. This is 4 different generations. Whereas from the house of Mpako you get Nkwazi, which is the great house, and Bangiso and Ntabankulu. You would know there's a place called Ntabankulu even to this day in Eastern Cape. Amaqoqo, are they Xhosa or Kwe? Being Kwe doesn't make you Xhosa or not Xhosa. Being Kwe is not equivalent to being Xhosa. Amaqoqo are Xhosa and they are Kwe. So don't use Kwe or Xhosa as if it's 2 different things. I repeat, don't make it seem like when people are Kwe, they can't be Xhosa. It's 2 different things. Kwe is their kind. Ngabantu abangabakwe. They speak Kwe mana or Kwe go up originally. But they are Xhosa because they have allegiance to the Xhosa kings. Sukwini are not Kwe, they are Kwe or Kwi. That's why you have the name Kwini. Sukwini, they are Kwi peoples, they are Kham originally. But they are Xhosa. Just because they are Kwi doesn't make them less Xhosa. They are still Xhosa or Sukwini. I will explain that history, guys. Just let me go through this because we're just going to keep on circling the same place. Unkwazi, Ubangiso, and Ntabankulu, they come from the great house of Mpako. Mpako kaRharhabe, uRharhabe kaJelwayo, umzukulwana kaQwambi. And then you also have Umelane noXele. On the other hand, other descendants of Mpako, Ngubonga or Ubonga, Unkanga, Nodidi, and Ubanga, Nopinzi. All these people, I'm not going to go through all of them. All these people are what we call Amaqwambi. So today in Eastern Cape, you may find someone called Umqwambi as their clan name. They come from the oldest bloodline of who? Of Nkosiyamntu. Amaqwambi are not Amachawe. They are not Amajwaga. They are not Amaqiga. They are older than those groups according to our oral history. Amaqwambi are some of the oldest bloodline amongst Amaxhosa, together with Okhila, together with Amaqoqwa, together with Amanzoto, together with Amankabane. These are ancient groups of Xhosa peoples. They are called Amaqwambi. That's the first group. And I'm sure there's more, but we didn't include them. Now, this is the 3 most famous Xhosa groups: the Xiga people, the Chawe people, the Jwaga people. Jwaga, you have Mazaleni, you have Mbese, you have Mtika, you have Khonwana, you have Ujotelo, you have Usoga. Usoga is the one who is the progenitor of the family that became the first black missionaries in Eastern Cape. Abantu bakwaSoga, they were the first black missionaries. Soga also married a Scottish woman. No, not Soga, man, but his son, Tio Soga, married a Scottish woman and gave birth to Xhosa people with Scottish blood. I repeat, Soga's son married a Scottish woman. And his children, like John Henderson Soga, one of his children became the first black veterinarian in South Africa. Another child, I think, was a teacher or something. Let's go and check it, actually. Let's go and check it. This is my YouTube channel, guys. Come here, subscribe, and watch the videos. Let's go and check Tio Soga children. And whilst, yeah, there you go. So, you see, look at them. You can see they are mixed race. These are Xhosa mixed race people. Hey, Gcaleka man. Gcaleka man. They have Scottish blood. Hmm? So, Soga had his wife, Janet Burnside, had 8 children, 7 of whom survived, creating a prominent South African dynasty, including sons who became pioneers as a doctor, historian, John, veterinarian, Jotelo, and journalist or ANC founder, Ellen Kirkland, plus daughters who were teachers, Isabella and Francis, and a musician or suffragist, Jesse, all educated in Scotland and known for their contributions in church, law, science, and politics. So these are the children of Soga. These are the children of Soga. This is John Henderson Soga. He wrote the book Southeastern Bantu. This is John Henderson Soga, the second son of Soga. He went to Glasgow University. He was born in 1860 and died in 1941. This is him. Father is Xhosa, mother is Scottish. He was a missionary, this one. Let's check a bit of his history. You might as well. He was a historian. He was a Xhosa minister, a pastor, a translator, a historian, ethnographer, whose works remain relevant in the mid-90s. He was a pastor. Here's another son of Soga. Ujotelo. He was named after his ancestor, this one. He was named after his ancestor, Jotelo, 3 generations before. So he took that name, Jotelo. This Jotelo, by the way, was killed by King Hintsa in 1818. So this is Jotelo, the great-great-grandson of the original Jotelo. He became South Africa's first ever veterinarian. Look at him. That's Jotelo. And then you have Alan Kirkland Soga. He founded what became the ANC, this one. He was one of the founding members of the SANC in 1898. He was also the co-founder with Walter Khobusana of the oldest black newspaper, Izwi Labantu, in 1899. The crazy thing is that Izwi Labantu was funded. It was sponsored by Cecil John Rhodes. This guy founded the SANC and co-founded Izwi Labantu. The SANC, they founded it in 1898. Izwi Labantu, they founded it in 1899. He was funded by Cecil John Rhodes, Alan Kirkland Soga. And then you have Jessie Soga. She was a music teacher. Soga's daughter. Here she is. Just look at how. This is a Xhosa person. Fikile Mbalula and Mandashe, they have no clue. These ones. So this is a history, guys. You're not gonna find it in school. They come from this bloodline. Amajwacha. Now, Amajwacha, if you know anything about the Ngconde peoples of Botswana, now let's do the Ngconde peoples. I want to show you something. You see, this is a Ngconde person. They are known as Ngconde. This is the Ngconde person in Botswana. This is a Ngconde child. Right? They also known as Ung. Here they are. They are also known as Ung people. No, Soga, yes, Soga is the son of Jotela. Soga gave birth to Tiyo. Tiyo then gave birth to these children. So these children are not Soga's children, they are Soga's grandchildren. These are Ngconde peoples, ne? Now, I want to show you something. They are called Kung. But also, Kung and Jew are variants of what? Of the word for people. I repeat, Jew means people. I told you all these words simply mean people. Let's go to Xhosa. Let's see the word for people. Let's see the word for people in Xhosa. Let's go. Just give me a minute. I'm quickly. We're not rushing anywhere, guys. You are here to learn, so we're gonna learn. Thank you for the gifts. And those who can give, please give, guys, so that at least I can keep doing these lives. My page is on it's on YouTube, you know. Let me show you my YouTube page. Let me show you my YouTube page. This is my YouTube page.
Peace family. This is
Sandile Tukani.
I'd like to welcome each and every one of you beautiful.
Sandile Tukani. That's my page. Now, we spoke about the Ngconde people. We're still talking about Amajwacha, ne? The Ngconde, they've got the word Kung and the word Jew for people. Now, we are going to the Xhosa name for people. Thank you guys for the gifts. We are going to the Xhosa name for people. I want to show you guys something. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That means a lot. Thank you so much, Mkaba. Kaba Master. Yeah, you have Isiku. Also pronounced as Kung in some of the languages. But now I'm looking for specific words. Hey, why am I missing these words now? Sorry, guys. Give me a minute. Give me a minute. There's some words that I missed here. Oh my God. Yeah, I found them. I found them. Now, I want to show you something. You see, there's something called Izihlonipho. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. Izihlonipho, they help us to understand old ways of speaking or alternative ways of speaking. One of Izihlonipho that we use is this name for words like umntu. We call umntu what? Umju or umju. Ju is a person. If you know anything about our languages, this is called isimapambili, the prefix. Isimapambili, the prefix. And this is called isiqu, the stem of the word. So the word in and of itself is the word Jew here. It's umntu, it's Jew. What does it mean? A person. What did the Ngconde people call themselves? They call themselves Jew, which means what? Which means a person. Hi man, I moved now from the page. Jew, a person. Khun or khung, also a person. So if you check here, umju is a person. There's also umlu, umnyatheli, umgu, umju. All meaning a person. There are many other words, by the way. For example, a car in Xhosa is called inqwelo, but also called ikolohiya. I know this one. At home, we use this one a lot. Kolohiya. We already know it's what? It's isiqu. Now, these people speak a group of languages known as Kha. Kha languages. Let's search what Kha languages are. You will understand just now where the name Jwacha. You understand now where the name Jwacha. You see, Kha is also the Jew peoples. Kha is also the Jew peoples or the Kwan peoples. The Jew, Kwan or Jucha or Jwacha peoples. Now, there's a friend of mine, a brother of mine, Mr. Xhosa. He talks about these things. He talks about these things. And People make fun, but Tina, we have evidence. So when you have Jwaga, it's Jew and Kha peoples together. Jwaga goes and joins what? And joins the Kunta people, Amabele. What do the Amabele call themselves? They call themselves Kunta. The Kunta. But Jwaga, which is also Kung, goes and joins Amabele after the fight between Amachawe and Amachikha. It's oral history, it's there. Go and find it. Between Amachikha and Amachawe, there's a fight. After the fight, Jwaga goes and joins Amabele, and Amabele, you find the Kunta, which in Kwinkia, Kunta simply means the Kung people. That's what it means. So now, do you understand, guys? Do you understand? From Amajwaga, then, you get that line of Osoka and many other descendants. They are still there to this day. Jwaga, Mazaleni, Mtika. You would know that our Miss South Africa has the same name Mazaleni. Ukawe Mazaleni. Does anyone know which clan Kawe comes from? Because Mazaleni is not just Jwaga. Ukhona Mazaleni, Emampondomiseni. I remember we extrapolated on that not long ago. We extrapolated on Umazaleni, I think, Emampondomiseni not long ago. If anyone knows which clan Ukawe Mazaleni, no, Wamba Mazaleni, I would really appreciate that. They come from Amagdin. Please answer if you know. Mazaleni ngomtika, but there's also another Mazaleni in other families. It's not just, it's not just Amajwaga. So this is the Xhosa people known as Amajwaga again. This is the Xhosa people known as Amajwaga. One of the main Xhosa clans. We've discussed Jwaga, we've discussed Kwambi. I want to know their clan name. Are they Ontande? Kawe Mazaleni bangamantande. Okay, I get you. It's fine. That's good. Now let's go to Amachikha. We are coming to Chawe because Chawe, the rest of this is Chawe descendants. We are coming to Chawe. Let's go to Amachikha. I've explained the name, guys. Let's go to Kwinkia. I want to show you something. Let's go to Kwinkia. Kwinkia is basically the language of the Kwi peoples. That's literally what it means. The language of the Kwi peoples. In Kwinkia, what you get is the name for an ear. It's called De. It could be Debe. When you end with a B, Debe. You get Hui, you get Tse, which is Tsebe. If you end with a B as a masculine ending. So Debe and Tsebe, it's an ear in Kwinkia. You've got Chapiti, you've got Che, you've got Chi, you've got Tui, you've got Tse, Tru, Tui, etc. All these are names for what? For an ear. But all these words mean, what they mean exact. When things look exactly the same, uti zifana njani, zifana nse. They look exactly the same, zifana nse. So the word for ears simply means same, exact. If you look at this word for ears, nga'am, in isiXhosa, when things look the same, you say zifana ngam, zifana ngam, or ngamashi. All simply means indlebe, ears. There's another one for ears. We say it's ngwa in Kwinkia. Ngwa. Zifana ngwa ezindlebe because they look exactly the same. Do you guys see the idea that I'm giving to you here? There's another word here for ears. Even twa, tse, it's the same thing. It's ma, twa. They look exactly the same. Here you have e. This is e, which means exactly the same. This is which is a click form of tse. This is Ngam, which is Ngam. You have Ngui, you have Ngusha, you have Ing, you have Hui. All these names from E, which is also Ti, to Ki, to Ke, and Ki, mean something that looks the same. These are words we use for similitude. Now I want to show you something. Because ears, they've got one key feature, is that they are on either side and they look identical on either side. That's the whole thing about ears. Nazok, Rharhabe, Ndlebe, Ntle, Zombini. Mafuza afulele njengelifu lemvula madoda. Bhungane mthemkhulu. So, tse, ditsebe, debe, I. This is, now for someone with big ears, you use what? You use a suffix to mean bigness. You use a suffix to mean big. What is that suffix? Is kha. We put that suffix. When you beat someone so much, we say yamboka or yamnguch. When someone likes to sleep so much, we call them itongoch. When someone is very lazy, we call them inganer. When someone has big ears, we call them iqicha. Icha. It means madlebe. It means big ears. That's what's in a name. As a personal name, that's what qicha means. As a personal name, that is what qicha means. Even the qicha of who? Of Amampondomise. But there's also now a group known as qicha people. As qicha people, they are called qicha. Qicha. Here, they even speak the qicha language. Now, when we write Qinkia, we use sounds. So when you see this X here, don't think this is this is ch. They are called qicha or tsecha or qicha or tsecha. It's a critically endangered African language that is spoken, that belongs to the Kalahari Kwe, the qicha people. Some call them San, some call them Bushmen, some call them Basara, some call them Khukwe, the people who stayed behind. They stayed behind from whom? All you need to know is that the qicha that are in Eastern Cape and the qicha that were left behind, known as Khukwe, are the same people. That's all I have to say. So you ask him, the Xhosa are they Kwe? Come on, man. I showed you Jwacha. I showed you Qicha. Now I'm going to show you Chawe. But let's go to Qicha. From Qicha now, you get the bloodline of Amaqicha. Amaqicha have a person known as Malandela. It's not the same individual human as Umalandela WaKwaZulu, but it is the same name. From Umalandela, you get to Nyembezi. From Unyembezi, you get to Kankolo. Kankolo. To this day, Kankolo means the back of an eland or the ridge of the elands. Khan is an eland. Kolo is a ridge, a mountain. The mountain that is infested with elands. Let me show you. Yay! Yay! Our people need to know these things. Let me show you. You see this name here, Khan T. Khan T is a bull eland. Without T, it becomes Khan. That's a normal eland. Impofu. Koma and Komati is also Impofu. That's why I told you, those people known as Kinebe, they are the people of Impofu, those people. Kinebe, Komazi. It's this word. It's an eland, Komaz. Sa and Cha, you find it in words like Chazi or Chezi. The eland colored people, the light-skinned people. Abatwa. Then you have Khan. You have Khan, which is the eland. It's the same one you find in Kankolo of Amaqicha. Kolo, we already know Ikolo is what? It's what people call Ulundi. Kankolo. Kankolo. Ulundi lwempofu. The eland ridge. The mountain that has elands in it. Kankolo. See? Zakali is called Rharhabe madoda. Suka. Kankolo is the eland ridge. So these are known as amacirha, by the way. Amacirha or Qhanqolo. Unojaholo, the person called Nojaholo, comes from this clan. Nojaholo was someone like Unkomo, Umtebosha. You see Umtebosha? The funny guy called Umtebosha? Yeah, Nojaholo was like that. He was an indigenous comedian. Hey, I don't know why they're not showing what is not coming up now, this thing. Let me just search Nojaholo quickly. I want to show you. Otherwise, I'll just have to do it manually. You know these laptops, they will show off when they see other human beings are watching. It's Elon Musk. I know, trying to sabotage me. So, from the Xhosa people in history, we have someone known as Nojaholo. He's one of the prominent Xhosa people. Uno Mba. Guys, you have to Begazelle. This is not a site, guys. This is a book. It's a Xhosa dictionary. It's a Xhosa dictionary. Just give me a minute. I'll find it now. It's coming. So now, Oxigha Nojaholo, are they related to Oxigha Tolelomtwakazi? Well, I mean, we are all related at the end of the day, but it's two different nations in the sense that they come from two different bloodlines. For example, Oxigha Tolelomtwakazi, Wamampondomse, comes from the Gcaleka bloodline, Ngqande. Whereas Oxigha Wamaxhosa, you can link them to the Khukwe Bushmen, or so-called Bushmen of Botswana. Yabo. So, yeah, but it's definitely the same name. Definitely the same name. Let's check Nojaholo if uzawuvela. I don't see Nojaholo. I see Ngconde Ntambo. I see Phalo. I see Dekeshe. Nojaholo has to be somewhere here. Gaza. Jubalala. Aye, man, where is Nojaholo here? I'm just gonna have to search. But Nojaholo is the son of Hali from the Xhosa people. Is the son of Hali from the Xhosa people. Oba, one of Oba's councillors. Anyway, it's fine. I think it's wasting my time at this point. I'm not gonna waste time. But yeah, from this line of Amacirha, there's also, you go all the way down to Hali. And then Hali has a son called Nojaholo. Nojaholo was a chief councillor of Ngonyama, aka Oba. Nojaholo was literally one of the funniest people in Xhosa history. That's why I wanted to share. Just like, who's this person? Unkomo. Umtebosha. Yes, I do sell the dictionary if someone is interested. I do sell it. So yeah, you can just let me know and then I'll sell it to you. I don't mind. But I have to sell it. I can't donate it because nobody donated it to me. Okay, let's continue now. Let's continue. Oh, there's Nojaholo. I found him. Finally. Yeah, just please inbox me. I'll get it to you ASAP. Finally, there's Nojaholo. Nojaholo was the son of Hali, one of Ngqika's councillors. He was of the Xhosa clan, chief Oba's councillor, and the greatest Xhosa humorist, which means comedian. So to this day, when the Xhosa people do their clan praises, you find words like Xhosa, Qhanqolo, Nojaholo. These are people who lived, you know. These are people who lived. Xhosa, Ncibane, Ntswenzwe, Nojaholo, Qhanqolo, Gaba. So these are people who lived. When we talk about this, it's just not just empty names. We are still talking about Xhosa. Now, from Xicha you get Xicha, ne? And then from Xicha you also get Kwemta. The Kwemta, which means now Xicha gives birth to Bonga, Bonga gives birth to Nzenga, Nzenga gives birth to Butsolo, which means sharpness, and then Mpukumpa, which means big guy, and then Dabane is a cape, you know, a cape that Superman wears. He wears a cape. That's Dabane. It's Dabane. It's a cape that is made out of what? It's made out of a daika, iputi. This is why iputi to this day is an animal that is linked to Xicha, because the battle of Xicha and Chawe was because of iputi. Watu Chawe hlomli puti lidala lempondo. Chawe said, "Give me a piece from this puti animal that you hunted. It's old. It's got horns." Xicha was like, "No, you're not getting nothing." And you can't say no now to your royal brother, because then it can cause a battle. Anyway, now from the daika, from iputi eli, you take the skin and you make something called this dabane or is daban. This is where the name dabane comes from. And then you have Mabe and Untiane. From Untiane you get the bloodline of Unci. Nci is a hyena. Nci is a hyena. The one with the mane. It's called the manhar jackal. That's what Nci is. Inesingci. That's why it's called Nci. Let me show you Nci, what the name Nci is. Nah, it's not this one. It's this one. This is a Nci. This is the hyena known as Inci. So the name Nci is a hyena. All these people are known as Amakwemta. People say the name Kwemta is because Kwemta, but I don't like that narrative. Anyway, Kama Xicha anga, Kama Jwacha, Kama Qwambi. And then lastly, the current. So this was meant to be the royal clan of Amaxhosa. This was supposed to be the royal clan of Amaxhosa. They were overtaken by Amachawe. If you look here, it says Great House, Undlunkulu. And if you look here, it says Iqadi, which means a supporting house. Qadi. Qadi comes from the Kwemana word Khari, which means extra wife. Khari. Qadi, Khari, and it's the same word. The Khari of the Nama comes from the Xhosa Qadi. The Qadi of the Xhosa comes from it's the same as the Nama. You know, it's something that is supporting. And then Jwacha, Ikunen. Now, what you have here from Chawe, you get Ngwangu, Skomo, and Togu. Togu was ruling when the Europeans who were on the ship Stavenice, or Stavenice, whatever it's pronounced, when those Europeans came to KwaXhosa, Togu was the king. He met those Europeans in the 1600s. Anyway, let's go back to Chawe. Now, in the times of Chawe, he lived with Xicha and Jwacha and others, many others, other clans like Amantakwenda, Amanzoto. There was a hunting expedition, because we are hunting people. We used to hunt. We never used to slaughter our animals unless it's for sacrificial purposes, for ceremonial purposes, or it's something very important. We didn't slaughter our animals because our animals were currency. It was money. It was investment. That's how you get a wife. It's how you trade with cows. So you don't just eat cows. Today we just eat anything. We used to go and hunt. We ate venison. So there was a hunting expedition between these brothers. Obviously, these are princes at that time. And they also have what? They've got armies that report to them. So in that hunting expedition, this one didn't come with anything significant. Whereas this one got what? Iputi. Now iputi is the blue duiker. It's a very tiny animal. Let me show you iputi. It's a tiny animal. So that was the reasoning. This is the blue duiker. You know. You see it's got little horns there. If you look carefully, you'll see it's got some little tiny horns. So one of the brothers got himself iputi. This is the Gcaleka line. Chawe wanted the iputi, but remember, this is the senior brother. Oh no, Chawe got iputi, sorry. Gcaleka didn't get. This is the senior brother, Gcaleka. Now, there's something called Inxaxheba. Inxaxheba is an entitlement of a king or a senior brother or the man of the house. Imfanelo, that's what Inxaxheba is. Inxaxheba. Gcaleka said, give me a part of that duiker. I want it. Chawe was like, you ain't getting nothing. This one says, no, this duiker is still here. It's old, man. It's got little horns. Give it to me. In isiXhosa, hlomla iputi, lidala, linempondo. Hlomla means cut. Iputi is a blue duiker. Lidala, it's old. Impondo is the horns. Cut this blue duiker. It's old. It's got horns. Chawe was like, no, you're not getting my blue duiker. So they fought. Now, Gcaleka interpreted this disobedience as a challenge for his throne. Because he was the heir. He was the crown prince. So when this brother of his, who was less than him in terms of hierarchy, refused to share with him his spoils from the hunting expedition, Gcaleka felt like this is disrespect, so let's fight. What Chawe did, he left, went to the Amampondo Mise. Within the Amampondo Mise, he found people known as Imihaga, the Haga people, the Mahaga people. Within the Mahaga people, the descendants of Unquba, the descendants of Khudulu, known as Amakhudulu, were there and they were willing to help Chawe. So Chawe took the Amakhudulu from the Imihaga people within Amampondo Mise. He took them. They came and they destroyed the Gcaleka and the Kwemta. Amachawe alwa awasakaza amagcirha namakhwemta encediswa ngamakhudulu aphuma kwimihaga emampondomseni. It is said that when they were fighting, the amakhudulu armies used to say, we are the cows of Skomo thina. Sizinkomo zikaSkomo thina. And the amakhudulu, they murdered the Gcaleka. The Gcaleka lost the throne. Chawe became the ruler. From there, Chawe gave the amakhudulu. He gave the Amakhudulu what? Land. Piece of land. To this day, Amakhudulu are still called piece of land. Umhlatyana. To this day. And therefore, after a while, they were given the name Amangwevu because they had a lot of, it is said that a lot of elderly people amongst them. They were called Amangwevu, the grey ones. Yes, Chawe was older. Chawe was older. This one was younger. But that doesn't work in royalty. You respect the house someone comes from, not their age. Chawe didn't respect the house. He wanted the throne for himself and he took it. From that time onward, Chawe became the ruler. To this day, Amachawe. To this day, Amachawe, they're the rulers. I've already done Amajwach. I started with Amajwach. You will find it on YouTube. Sunday the Tukani. Now, from Chawe, you get to Ngwangu. Now, this name, Ngwangu, it means anger, you know. It means anger, but in Kwinkia, it also means the snake people. In York, you have Uskomo, and then from Uskomo, you get to Togu. Togu is the one who met with the Stavanese shipwreck people. It is written in the book called The Record. They met with Xhosa, and Togu was very nice to those white people. But, I mean, it was useless to be nice to white people because they came back and stole all the land. Anyway. So that being nice didn't help Xhosa anyway. It didn't help. The other groups, they were not nice, Baba. They unalived those whites. They didn't have time to be nice. They didn't have time to be nice. They unalived them. There's a book called The Record by Moody. I don't want to go to it now. So now it's true. These stories are the same. Umpondo nompondo mse. That's why, I'm just regurgitating what we were taught. But personally, I don't even see these as individual people. Like Ochawe, no, I see these as clans, as groups already at this time. At this time, these were already like groups of people. They were established clans. But yes, there was a king called Chawe, or at least called Chawe. It may not have been his first name, but there was. Now, I believe at this time, these people were already nations. But we know nations do tend to be named by something, some person or some key element. For example, Chawe, it ended up meaning noble. But if you go back, Chawe means salt, a salty area, salt pan. A salt pan. Like a dry areas with salt and trees. In fact, if you go to Zimbabwe and Botswana, you get people known as the Chwawu people. You got people known as the Shwa. Excuse me. You guys you are seeing me doing this in real time now. You are seeing me doing this in real time. I want you to see that these things are there in public. In fact, there's a post here already. Shwa means salt. Shwakwe means people who live in salt areas. There's actually even a township called Suwa and Suwapen in Botswana. But I wanted to show you exactly. I hope this is the right one. So you have these people known as the Shwa peoples as well. In Botswana and Zimbabwe. If you look at their language, it's exactly like isiXhosa. It's exactly like isiXhosa. You see, ikwekwe in Shwawukwe it's karokwa. Karokwa. In isiXhosa it's kwekwe. Twi. In isiXhosa it's jwi. It's one. Twi. Jwi. Indo inye jwi. Something that's next to another, which makes them two. Because we say is ungaman or inqamu. Inqamu, it's next to. Inqamu nyenomthetho, it's not exactly the law. It's next to the law. So twi, it's jwi. Ngam is qam, is ngam in isiXhosa. This is just some of the words in the Shwa language. But you get these. There's other dialects like Deti, Kanadi, Shwakwe, Ngokwe, Kaiye, Khaise, Chidikwe, which Chidi and Amantinde, there's something there, but that's for another day. You get Amakolo, the Koro people. You get the Koro people, Amakolo in Eastern Cape. You see, Koro, they are part of the Zocho people. The Zocho who also have Chwawu within themselves. Remember, we're talking about Chwawu people. So there's Chwawu people known as Koro, Amakolo. They're there in KZN. They're also called Hichware or Hichwawe. Hichwawe. It's just many different groups of people in the border of Botswana and Zimbabwe. So there were some suggestions that Chawe themselves, they were the Chawe people. No. Togu didn't give white people land. No, I didn't say that. I said he met white people. Those white people were not looking for land. They were just shipwrecked. So those people, their ship got wrecked on the shores of Emampondweni. They were shipwrecked in Emampondweni. They walked from Emampondweni. They crossed to Emampondomseni, Ebatenjini. They crossed all the way to KwaXhosa. They are going to Cape Town at that time in 1686. They were not given land. That is Togu. By the way, the name Togu, you will also find it where? In Kwinkia. Do you guys realize that all these names of our kings are there they are basically in what you call Bushman languages. Do you see it though? Can you see what I'm telling you guys? All these names. This is a Xhosa. You see this? It's a hill. It's a hill. It's hanga. Hanga. It's a Xhosa. Hanga means an open place. Inkantosi. Basically, a place where everyone can see you. We call that uhanga. Uhanga. Eluhangeni. Openly. Were the Xhosa people in Western Cape before 1652? Yes, there were Xhosa people in Western Cape before 1652. They are still there to this day. Go to Beaufort West, go to Gamka, go to Liu Gamka. There are Xhosa people who've been there for as long as they can, for 10 generations, 12 generations, I don't know. They are from there. When they say they are going to the villages, their villages are in Beaufort West. Those people are not farm workers. They've been there. Amakwali, they were always in Beaufort West, in the Karoo. Amakwali, people like descendants of Xhosa, descendants of Habana. These are people of the Karoo. Not just Western Cape, also Northern Cape. For example, Unzwane, Dunster, the Xhosa guy in Dunster, he was trading in Cape Town. In the 1700s already, he used to trade between Cape Town and Northern Cape and Eastern Cape. He used to move between the three capes. Dunster. But even before 1650, there were Xhosa people already there amongst the Gcaleka peoples. The Gcaleka peoples were there in the Overberg region, in places like Rharhabe and Bodrivier. The Gcaleka tell Jan van Riebeeck that no, there's people who are very close to us militarily. They are our kings. They live a bit east from us, which is east from what? From Rharhabe. But they come from time to time. In fact, one of the chiefs under the Gcaleka kingdom, a man called Kaintina, he was married to a woman from KwaXhosa. Jan van Riebeeck wanted to meet this woman because he wanted to see if they have gold. Agiri Suswa, the chief of the Gcaleka, who ended up being called Susekwa, that chief told Jan van Riebeeck that there was gold here and that the Xhosa and the Xhobona, which is the descendants of Malangana. When you say Xhobona, you are saying Malangana, people of Malangana. You're also saying the people of Xhobayo. So, Susekwa tells Jan van Riebeeck, these people have gold. Jan van Riebeeck shows Susekwa his what? He shows Suswa his ring. Do they have this? Suswa is like, yes, we'll bring Xintina's wife. Xintina's wife is taken to Jan van Riebeeck, but Xintina's wife is killed by Xhosa. Xintina's wife is killed by Xhosa. The Xhosa are the people of high chicks. So Jan van Riebeeck doesn't end up seeing the gold. But Jan van Riebeeck's successor, Simon van der Stel, the mixed race governor of the Cape in the 1670s and 1680s, he sends people to Eastern Cape in 1689. He sends people. They go all the way to Kreidok and Graaf Reinet in what we call Kham Dobowa or Kham Dibu. They go all the way there. They meet to Inzati. They are looking for gold. That's why they were there. So Xhosa people were there in Western Cape. In fact, they were as far as Rharhabe, Worcester, and Phalo before 1652. This is not just Suswa saying this to Jan van Riebeeck. Gorotwas, also known as Krotowa, also says this to Jan van Riebeeck. Now, many colored people will know Krotowa because they say they descend from Krotowa. And some white people also claim to descend. Krotowa herself was telling Jan van Riebeeck that I know these people known as Xhobokwa or Xhobona, known as Xhosa. I know them. I've seen them there by Bergrivier. Bergrivier is there by the Seloris Pass today. Kanto. You know the place called Seloris Pass is Kandu. It's called Kandu. Kandu means the place of what? The path of the eland. Remember, Kankolo means the ridge of the eland. Kandu means the path of the eland. It's called Seloris Pass today. Korotwa, the girl called Krotowa, it's Korotwa. She told Jan van Riebeeck, I've seen the Xhobona, or so-called Xhosa. I've seen them. They were here. They always come from time to time. She points out to the vicinity of Worcester and Phalo. So this nonsense, oh, there were no Xhosa people in Western Cape. Xhosa people are native to Western Cape. What the hell are you talking about? Oh no, there are no Xhosa people in Cape Town. Well, there was no Cape Town at that time. It was just big land. In fact, you see the place where most Xhosa people are put now in Cape Town, the Cape Flats. Most Xhosa people and colored people stay in the Cape Flats. You do know that nobody used to live in the Cape Flats. It was a grazing, kamadlelo. The Cape Flats, it was a grazing fields for the Kurikekwa and the Korokwa and the Kohokwas and the other groups. It was grazing fields. No one lived there. Even the Xhosa people lived in town, literally, District 6, Bokab, Milnerton, Muizenberg. They were moved from Muizenberg and Milnerton. They were moved to Uitvlucht, what then ended up becoming Pinelands. From Uitvlucht, they were moved to, it was also called Undabeni. They were moved to Langa. So if anything, it's the apartheid government that moved Marcos, but it started with the British government. It started with the British government. Not only were Xhosa people natives, there were also slaves in the Western Cape. There were also slaves, taken as slaves in the Western Cape. Amaxhosa. I know there's this one document, I'm not sure where I will find it now. Let's see if I can find it here, but it's on the archives of the Cape Colony. There were slaves. There's one slave master who had a Xhosa slave from the Nkconde. Maybe I'll discuss that on a different video because it's going to distract me. But that nonsense of Xhosa were not there. It's complete nonsense. Are you saying the Xhosa kingdom owned land in the Western Cape? They are still there. I'm not saying they owned it. They are still there to this day. Go to the Karoo. Go to Liu Gamka. Go to Beaufort West. Xhosa are there to this day. In fact, I will show you where the descendants. You see these people? You see these people? The descendants of Chiwo, the Gwali, the Titi, the Kobe, the Mahade, the Zweni, the Hini, and the Anis. A lot of them were in the Western Cape. And these ones, Mahot, Jalamba, they were the first to have to deal with Europeans. That's why we even have paintings. This one was alive in 1770. They were the first to deal with Europeans, to fight with them, with the Cape Colony. But there were even Xhosa slaves from like these groups, Nkconde, from Tinde's people. So they did not own land. They are still there right now. They've been there. How can you be told by Helen Zille that Helen Zille is literally an immigrant from Germany? She's a foreigner from Germany, a Jewish foreigner from Germany, but she tells you that you're a migrant in the land of your ancestors. You must not have that much self-love, eh? Helen Zille is a Jewish immigrant, an Ashkenazi Jew from Germany. She just came now, Helen Zille. Then already they are telling you are immigrants in your land. Rob Herzog, a Jewish immigrant from Russia. They're not even the settlers. No. They are the immigrants after the settlers. You know, the settlers were very few. Majority of white South Africans are immigrants. They are migrants. They just arrived now in the 90s during apartheid, many of them. And many of them are not even white. They are honorary whites. Some of them are Sicilian from southern Italy, from the islands of Italy. Some of them are Asian descendants. Some of them are West African slave descendants, these Europeans. So you need to start to have confidence in yourself, Luena. Look at Xhosa people in Cape Town living like they are second-class citizens. Always in the township. They don't even want to go outside. Always in Khayelitsha, always in Nyanga, always in Crossroads. You go to the V&A waterfront, not even one South African Xhosa person there. They are afraid of their own country. Go to the Table Mountain cable car, not even a single Xhosa person. If you go there, the people are going to ask, are you from Joburg? Because they know the locals don't go to such places. The locals are getting drunk weekend in and weekend out. Can't blame Helen Zille for that. When you don't have confidence in your own ancestors, then you're going to stay in those bloody townships, and Helen Zille, a Jewish immigrant, is going to call you a migrant in your own country. How can you be called a migrant by a Jew from Germany who ran away from the Holocaust? She calls you, she has the unmitigated temerity to call you an immigrant in your country. You should have gone to that bloody house and showed her who's the immigrant. Now there's Cape Independence ran by immigrants as well. Illegal white Caucasoid foreigners are telling you, no, the Cape is ours. The Cape. There's no bloody Cape. That is Cape. It's Cape. It's Traba, where the clouds gather. This is the land of the ancestors of this land. It is the land of our forefathers. But oh no, guys, these are white areas. Well, you are the one who's a slave in your mind then. Where are the natives? Where are the natives of Cape Town? They're in Menenberg. They're in Kwalanga. Killing each other day in and day out. They're in crossroads and lower crossroads, murdering each other, unaliving and raping each other, instead of going and occupying space in the lands of their forefathers. So even the premise of that question, are Xhosa people from the Western Cape? Xhosa people have been in the Western Cape for as long as I can remember. Now, there were many people who were pushed out of Cape Town. Not just Xhosa people. The Nkosiyamntu were pushed out of Cape Town. The Nkosiyamntu were pushed out of Cape Town. The Ngconde were pushed out of Cape Town. The Xhosa were pushed out of Cape Town. The Gcaleka were pushed out of Cape Town. All of them were pushed. That's why they went to Namibia. Many people who are in Namibia were originally natives of the Cape. Both Western Cape, Northern Cape, and some Eastern Cape as well. They were pushed by Europeans. You know, when Europeans started settling, they settled in 1652. By the way, here, since the 1400s, we know that. When they started settling in 1652 and building that fort there, in the first 30 years of European settlement, 70% of the indigenous population in Cape Town was wiped out. I repeat, they wiped out the population. 70% of the population was wiped out in one generation, in 30 years. The natives had to run for their lives. They went to Northern Cape. They went to, what is this? To Namibia. They went to Eastern Cape. They went as far as Limpopo, Mpumalanga, KZN. No, there was no land that was empty. That is a Roman statute. Terra nullius. You know, the Roman statute was all about just conquering all the natives everywhere because the natives were not considered as human. It's still the same. Now you've got fools who like, oh no, let's vote Ngconde. Ngconde is gonna shambok you every weekend, Baba. First and foremost, when Ngconde is in charge, you are not gonna use your indigenous name. Oh, Ngconde, guys. Only Ngconde can sort this out. Ngconde doesn't give a damn about you. He will definitely let you vote, but he doesn't give a damn because they're the same. The Ngconde are the same who killed Chris Hani, an indigenous Xhosa-speaking person. Chris Hani from the what? From the Nkosiyamntu peoples. He was killed by the Ngconde from the Conservative Party. You do know that FF Plus was originally a Conservative Party, the same party that said, let's not vote for apartheid to end, guys. It was the same party that facilitated the unaliving of Chris Hani. It is the same party that supports both Cape Independence, which is pushed by European illegal immigrants, and Orania, which is pushed by European illegal immigrants. Europeans in South Africa are illegal immigrants. They have never sat down with the royal families and asked for land. They have never done it. These people have never sat down with our royal families and begged for land. They just came with cannons and unalived and pillaged and raped. Let me show you something real quick. I met this one in Cape Town. I saw this one then in Canal Walk. In Canal Walk. It's how they're trying to remove that he was part of the Conservative Party. Then we have to go to AI then. He began his career in the Conservative Party, the CP. He started his political career in the right-wing Conservative Party, which split from the National Party. Why did the Conservative Party split from the National Party? Why did they split? You know, the National Party is the guys who actually ran apartheid. Ne? The Conservative Party felt like the National Party was too weak. Do you guys understand? They felt like the National Party was too weak. The party that did apartheid, crime against humanity. These guys, the guys, Groenewald and the other guys, felt like the National Party was too weak. It was too soft on these baboons, on these Popechan natives. They split and formed a Conservative Party. He was a mayor of the Conservative Party in Stilfontein in 1988. And he was elected in the House of Assembly for the Conservative Party in 1989. He was a leader of the Conservative Party. But today he's a minister. So it's people like him then who push these foreign concepts of Cape independence and Orania and many others. They're building enclaves everywhere. They're building enclaves everywhere, these people. So if you as a native, you think maybe you can't lead yourselves and somehow you need a European to rule over you, the Europeans are going to rule over you and you're going to cry. Like the Palestinians are crying in Palestine. You're going to cry when they take your babies and snap their heads off. You're going to cry. You're going to cry when they come into your house at 3 a.m. and grab all the women and unalive all the boys. You're going to cry. And they will do it. They've been wanting to do it. They've done it before and they will do it again. Black people don't need to be saved. Black people know exactly what's happening. They're the ones who experienced it. They can't now all of a sudden forget what happened to them. Black people know exactly what happened to them and they want it to happen again. The moment they vote for these Verwoerd type peoples, me and mine, we are ceasing from this country called South Africa. I'm no longer a South African. I don't want anything to do with their stupid political fake South Africa. We might as well just be independent from this stupid country. It's a failure anyway. It's a failure. Cape Town, they call Cape Town Europe, you know. They actually literally believe that Cape Town is Europe. Right now, go to Cape Town, you'll see in Greenpoint, it's full of the Emiratis and the Arabs. Emiratis and the Arabs. Sea Point, full of Jews. It's invaded everywhere. Camps Bay, Nigerians. Parklands, Nigerians. Tableview, Nigerians. Sea Point, infested with Germans. Anyway. So, we have Togu. I was still trying to explain Togu. Let's go back to Amaxhosa. Togu is a Xhosa name for a king that was ruling in the 1680s. When the Stavanisa ship was wrecked, Togu is the one who welcomed them, Amaxhosa. But the name Togu in and of itself, it means a hippo. If you come to Gwinkia, you'll find Togu here. It's a hippo. In Gwinkia. Now, after Togu, the other Xhosa king that followed is Ngconde, the son of Togu. But Togu himself gave rise to, under Togu, you had a group of people known as Omvimvane. So you had Ngconde, you had Mvimvane, you had Keche, which is a hawk, and you had another group, Amantinde, and another group, Amakwai. Now, here's the thing, ne? Once again, these groups, even in Kwinkia speaking communities, these groups are still there. For example, you have Amantinde, which are known as Chidikwe in Kwinkia speaking communities. Tidikwe or Chidikwe, which means Tinde people. Amakwai, they are known as Kwa Kwe or Kwa people. Amakwai. Kwai means those who have been ostracized. It means those who have been ostracized. Bakwaiwe. Those who have been lowered in rank. They're no longer our equals now. In Kwinkia, Kwai means those who serve others. Kwa Kwe, the servant clan. They come from Togu through Uziko or Ugando Wenchaba, who then gave Pazima, gave rise to Pazima, who then gave rise to Ngeimswa, Noi, and Sangan, and many others. So it's Amakwai. So you'll meet Xhosa people who are called Kwai. You'll meet Xhosa people who are called, their clan name is, their clan name is Togu. Some of them, their clan name is Ngconde, Vimvane, Keche. This is not the Keche of Bai, no. So you have Amakwai, and then you have Amantinde. Tinde, they have a very strong history with the Kwe nations who are outside of the Xhosa hegemony before. They have a very strong history with like Konukwa and all that. These people. A lot of the Konukwa also joined Ntinde in the time of Togu to become, the Ntinde people. Now, from the Ntinde people, there's a man known as Yan Chachu. He's one of the Xhosa people who went to Europe to fight for Xhosa's aboriginal rights. Yan Chachu. So, from Ntinde you get Ngetani, from Ngetani you get Mbange, from Mbange you get Tsiko, from Tsiko you get Chachu, from Chachu you get Jani. Jani is the son of Chachu. He fought for Xhosa's aboriginal rights. Let's go and check it out. Jani Chachu. Let's go and check it out. Jan Chachu went to Europe before the council to fight for Xhosa people's aboriginal rights. This is Jan Chachu. Hey, I don't know. He looks like an Ethiopian here. I'm not sure what's happening. These drawings, sometimes they're just not make sure. No, this is not the Chachu of Abatembu. Oh, Chachu Abatembu is also known as Chachu Olitafa. Oh, Chachu Olitafa. This is not the same person. This is Intinde. Mara, why did make him looking like a Ethiopian? Introduction to Yan Chachu. They wrote it like that. It says that with the discussion of his letters to the directors of the London Missionary Society in 1838 to 1845. So he went to London at some point to go and fight for Aboriginal rights. He went with a man called Andries Stoffel. Today, the Xhosa people say Stoffile. By this time, the Europeans had really colonized us. Hey, so it was Jan Chachu and Andries Stoffel, and then James Reed, also known as Ngongolo. James Reed Senior and James Reed Junior. These were white Europeans who would with Xhosa names. This one was called Ngongolo Omdala. This one was called Ngongolo Omncinci. They were pastors. This one, Andries Stoffel, was from the Kunukwa. Jan Chachu was from the Amantinde. They went there to go and fight for the Aboriginal rights and Aboriginal nations and their mistreatment by the Boers and others. You'll notice that at this time, they already have English names and stuff like that. So you can go and search for this. There's letters that they wrote. There's minutes of their meetings. The meetings they had. This is them This is them in London, by the way. This is Chachu, Ujani. This is Stofile, Andres. I think this is Philip. This is James Reed, Senior and Junior. I'm not sure, but these white people are pastors, and these are natives. These are indigenous natives. Kunukwa and Tinde. Yeah. So when they went there, they went to fight for Aboriginal rights or the rights of Aboriginal peoples in South Africa because they were being oppressed by Europeans. They were not there to fight, the Bantus invading us. We fight the Bantu. There was no such a thing. These people had no clue about that nonsense. Until AfriForum, Liberta, Lex Libertas, and the Institute of Race Relation came and devised those words together with Israel. You know, these words are designed by Israel, AfriForum, Lex Libertas, their Institute of Race and Relation, the Institute of Race Relation, IRR. They all devised words like Bantu migrants and all that. They even have that fake meme thing where Xhosa people arrive in 1811, Zulu arrive in 18 what. And then you have Julius Malema who's promoting it. We came from the north. No, Baba, you came from the north, not us. We know you are a descendant of people from Yemen, not us. Tina, we've been here. We welcomed your people, Julius. So why lie and say, you came from the north? You came from Yemen with ships and came to Delagoa Bay and came to Great Zimbabwe and came to Mapungubwe, your people, the Shavim, Bashabi, the Shavim. To this day, they're there, the Sena peoples of Yemen and all those merchants, Julius Malema's ancestors. Okay, let's go. From there, so these are the Amakwai, and then you have the Amantinde. That was Yan Chachu. And then from Yan Chachu, you get Mtikhaka, not the Mtikhaka of Abatembu. And then you get Togu. These are known as Amantinde. To this day, the Amantinde are there. And then you have Amahleke. No. Yes, you have Amahleke, but Amahleke now come from Ngconde. Ngconde is one of the other kings of Amakhosa. They come from Ngconde. What is Ngconde? What does the name Ngconde mean? Once again, we will look and not find anything unless we go to Gwinkia, the so-called Bushman language. Somehow, it has all the names and meanings of our names of our forefathers. Do with that information whatever you want to. If you come here and look for the Pleiades, it's Limela. In Gwinkia, it's called Ngconde or Ngconde. Ngconde or Ngconde. Ngconde or Ngconde is called Pleiades. It's Limela. So the name Ngconde is Silimela. Just like the name Togu is Mvubu, hippopotamus. But you only understand this when you understand the languages of the older Chwawu peoples, the older Tsikha peoples, the older Jew and Kha peoples. When we say Chwawu and Hichware and Hichwawekwe are the same as Chawe. When we say Jucha peoples are the same as Jwacha. When you say Hicha and Tzicha are the same as Amatricha, you say, no, we are lying. We are not. We came from Congo. But all the names, Tzicha doesn't have a meaning in the language you speak today. Tzicha will only have a meaning if you go to those languages of the Tzicha peoples. Chawa will only have a meaning if you go to those languages. Jwacha will only have a meaning if you go to those languages. Ngconde, Togu, all these words. Come on now. Come on, guys. You can't be that drunk. We can't be that drunk. We can't be that dumb with the wine of delusion and Bantu migration that we do not see this. If there's any group of people in South Africa who have the right to be guardians of the ancient history of this land, are the descendants of the ancient people of this land. Kaqwaba. Ayixoxisa ixabanisi. Icace cha. Okay, ngcwa emweka. Icangcatha ehlungwini. Ash. Now let's go to Togu. Now Togu gives birth to Chiwo. All the books write this as Tsiwo. And then you have Mdange, which means Mdange means someone who's able to Someone who's able to control their feelings, Someone who's able to control their passion. Because dange means fire, flames, passion, anger. So someone who has control over their passions and anger is called umdange. In fact, KwaZulu, they have unodange. Unodange edumile. Umpikwane. Sabela uyabizwa mageba. Nodange and mdange basically same thing, same name. Idange is fire. It's a form of the word lange or langa. So mdange now gives rise to the people known as imidange. Oh, imidange kachiwa madoda. Suka! Yay! So Ngconde gives birth to mdange. Mdange gives us mahote. Mahote means the shy one or the mourning one. Ukuhota is to mourn. Ukuhota is to show shyness and respect. To stay away from something. Like a young woman who has just gotten married. Uyahota. Uyahota umakoti umchakazi xa egungqile. Liyahota ikrwala xa lisagungqile lisandufika lisathwele lixakathile. Liyahota ikrwala. Mahote means the one who's in mourning, the one who's in, fasting in a way. Guys, this is not a website, it's a book. I told you, I can sell it to you if you want. It's not a website, my people. And it's many different books. You understand? It's many different books. So you find that I'm looking at 10 different resources. This is why I tell people to just join the program that I'm running. The program known as Project Ingas, which I'm running. Tomorrow we have a session at 6 p.m. until 8 p.m. People join the program. They pay monthly, $250 a month. Or you just buy the books. My books go from 200 to 400 depending on how big it is. So if you're not joining the program, you inbox me. I explain. I've already got like 20-something people who have been paying quite, since last year, I think. Last year, June. I think so. Exactly, we don't need to explain ourselves to Europeans. We don't need to explain ourselves. They don't even care about our explanations anyway. They just want land. That's what Europeans want. They don't give a damn about our explanations. We can explain all we want. They're not interested. So these are the people of Umdange and Maote. Now, Maote, there's a picture of Maote. I will show you just now. There's a picture of Maote in the 1770s. In Ngcuba River, in Ngcuba. Ngcuba. I will show you my water just now. To show you that these are actual human beings who lived. It's not just stories that we are telling. These are real people. And in those days, it was drawings. Robert Jacob Gordon, the one who drew these pictures. Let's put it here. And then Maote's daughter, Puseka. Let's put it here. And then, there you go. There's Maote. There's Maote. This is 17... This is Maote. They call him Maote, but it's Maote. He was in Ngcuba, as in Great Fish River. Let me try and see the year. 1776. 1776. Maote was taken a picture of. Now, I want you to notice Maote has... he has copper and what is this? Ivory. He has copper and ivory, brass and ivory. This is ivory, proper ivory from the elephant tusks or teeth. This is very possibly gold. I want you to notice that there's two crescent moons and a star. 2 crescent moons and a star. And he's holding a spear. This is what we call ukuxakatha. Umnweba. This is umnweba. There was no imibhaco. There was no Xhosa attire that is black and white Xhosa attire. This is Xhosa attire right there. This is Xhosa attire. So this is called umnweba wengwe. This blanket is umnweba. This is known as ukuxakatha, to tie. This is known as amaso. This is known as icici. It's not bought from Europeans. Icici. Ngconde lo. This is known as inyembe. Inyembe, the head of the spear. Now that's a prince of the Imidang. It's not even the highest ruler of Amaxhosa. This is not even the highest ruler. This is just one of the princes. Imagine the highest ruler now. No, gold was always here. They are lying when they say it was discovered in the 1800s. We were trading gold, guys. In the times of Mapungubwe. 600 AD, Baba, we are already mining gold and smelting it. Guys, we had industries. Insebenzo. Industry. Inkutalo. We had these things. We knew how to mine. Ukutapa. Ukomba. Minerals izimbiwa. Or imbo. We had mines. That's why you have Mwene Mutapa. The owner of the mined lands. Mwene Mutapa, the owner of the mined lands. Mutapa, from the word Mutapa, to extract resources. Mutapa is the land where resources are extracted. Mwene is the ruler or the owner. Umnini. Mwene Mutapa kingdom, the kingdom where the owner mines gold. Literally, it's in the name. Why do you think the Moors were in Great Zimbabwe? Why do you think there were Moors in Mapungubwe? Why do you think there were Moors in Bukoni? You think they were there just to look at us? Why do you think there were Bedouins from Middle East? Why do you think the ancestors of Julius Malema, the Yemeni peoples, the Omani merchants, some of their heritage is still seen in Mozambique to this day in the name Musa ibn Bikwe, which we call Mozambique. These are people from the Middle East. They were here to trade. They lie and say gold was discovered in 1886. No, gold was not discovered in 1886. There was always gold. It was always there. We knew it. We knew how to work it. No nonsense of 1886. 1886 is literally just before 1900. They stole that gold. They stole it from the people of Ntswanatsatsi. They stole it from the people, the Xhosa peoples. From your Sotho, your Tswana, all the communities that were there. They bloody stole that bloody gold. This is Maote. He met with Robert Jacob Gordon, 1776. This is him here, the son of Mdang. So if you see, these are real people. It's not just empty words that we are putting here. Someone was asking about Melanie. Melanie, remember now, I started with Melanie when I talk about Amakwambi. Melanie is Kwambi. It's here. Ekunene kwindlu kaNkwazi, that the descendants of Nkwazi from the Mpaku blood, from Rharhabe, from Jelwayo, the descendant of Kwambi. In fact, this name Tseu is one of my great grandfathers. His name is Tseu. Not to digress. From Maote we get Jalamba. These guys now fought Europeans. They were the first ever well, not first ever, but they were the first to fight the Eastern Frontier Wars. We had been fighting Europeans earlier than that, but the Eastern Frontier Wars, these were the first. Otherwise, we've been fighting Europeans since the 1400s and the 1500s. Remember, when the Portuguese came here, they tried to fight us time and again. We murdered them like nobody's business. Like I murdered them. We blacksamed them. They never came back, the Portuguese. They just came back during apartheid now. Some of them are in parliament, your Ferreiras. Ferreiras, they are eating money because of ANC. Bloody ANC. So Maote then gives birth to Jalamba and Makhala. Jalamba gives birth to Sabeko and Ngceniswa and all that. These are known as Imidangi. These are known as Imidangi. Now we are moving from Imidangi. There's also another son of Ngconde, Ujomose. I think they are also part of Imidange today. Uchomose, who gives birth to this bloodline. Another son of Ngconde is Ngwema. And then another son of Ngconde is Hleke. I've touched on Hleke. Yes. Now let's move from Ngconde. Let's go to... No, we are on Chiwo now. Chiwo gives birth to Phalo. I don't have physical copies. It's hard to get physical copies of these books anyway. Chiwo gives birth to Phalo. Now, Phalo is a tool to make the skins nice. You know, the skins that Mahote is wearing. You make them nice with a tool known as Phalo. But I don't think this is the name. I think this one refers to... Ishak. Like Shaka is the stomach worms. Same as the Phalo. It's actually another name of the tapeworm. It's another name of the tapeworm. Because the Phalo of cutting off the skins comes from Afrikaans to paw the skins. So this one is the stomach worm known as a tapeworm. Phalo. But it also is a euphemistic name for sperms. Sperms as in little what? Little worms. How would our ancestors know if they didn't have microscopes to see? How would they know these things? How would they know? So Phalo can also mean the sperms of the king, which means the direct bloodline of the king. Just like in case at Mbati, isilulu is also euphemistic. It's a basket, but it's also euphemistic for the testicles of the king, which means direct bloodline. So Phalo is the direct seed of the king. One of the sons of Chiwo. Possibly, he was ruling in the early 1700s. Phalo was the king in the early 1700s. And then you had Gwali. Gwali's descendants were also in the what? In the Western Cape. Beaufort West, Lugamka, which we call Ramcha Nisikos. So from Gwali, you get Amagwali. These people who went and lived with the Nkosiyamntu. They lived with the Nkosiyamntu. They were running from the Imidange in the early 1700s with the Inzati, the great king, the Gcaleka of the Nkosiyamntu. They were moved there by Imidange, and then they were incorporated into Imidange. But I think the ones who were in Western Cape survived. To this day, you hear about the Xhosa people of the Karoo. Xhosa people of the Karoo. You see, there's this little history here. Beaufort West, the history of the Xhosa in the Central Karoo. Xhosa people, again, it's Cape Town, it's Western Cape, Northern Cape, and Eastern Cape. It's not just one Cape. Yeah, born. So when you see Xhosa people from Northern Cape, don't ask them, where do you come from Eastern Cape? No, they're not from Eastern Cape, they're from Northern Cape. They know nothing about Eastern Cape, those people. I've met someone who's Xhosa from Northern Cape. He looks like those people from Northern Cape. He looks Xhosa, but he's from Northern Cape. So Phalo is stomach worms or the bloodline, the seed of the king. Gwali, I've already touched on. You see this name, Hanis, it's Hans. It's Hans. It's a form of Jan. Han. Like your Han. And then you get Amambalu. So these ones are known as Amagwali. And then these ones are known as Amambalu. These are all Xhosa people from the Chawe bloodline. No, not Chawe. Yes, Chawe bloodline. So you have Amachawe who are Ngconde, Amachawe who are Gwali, Amachawe who are Mbalu, who are Kwayi, who are Hleke, all of them Ngamachawe. Within Amambalu, then they come from Utiso, and Tiso gave birth to Langa. Langa gave rise to Nqeno. Nqeno gave rise to Stokwe, Ngcweleshe, and Sonto. These are the men who were fighting in wars. I'm not going to touch on all of them because we don't have much time. I touched on Imidange, I touched on Ojomose, I touched on Ongwema, I touched on Amahleke, I touched on Amantindi. These are the descendants of Chiwo. Now from Phalo now. There you go. You see in the comments, someone is saying, I do have a family there in Northern Cape, Colesberg and Victoria West. Yeah, these are the Xhosa people of the Karoo. They were living there with Kham, the Kham people of the Karoo. The Kauken, Swakwi, the Sukwin, the Sonkwa. Now from Phalo, you get a group known as Umchayelo. You get a group known as Umchayelo. Umchayelo come from Uluchaba, Unqito, Umgwebi. Now, guys, remember, these names, Umchayelo, Amagwali, it's not just clan names. These are the people, they have their own little chieftaincy within the Xhosa kingdom. So whenever you see a different name, just remember, it's a completely different jurisdiction. They are independent, okay, autonomous, semi-autonomous, but they still report to the Chawe bloodline. But they are autonomous. They fight together. It's armies, ngamabandla. This is what we call amabandla kaPhalo. These are armies that fight when they are called to fight, but they live independently. They trade with other groups and all that, but they cannot give land. Land can only be given by the highest chief. So Umchayelo is another one of these armies zakwaXhosa. They come from Uluchaba. Uluchaba, who gave birth to Unqito. Unqito gave birth to Mgwebi. Now, on Uluchaba, I have some notes that I would like to share. But before I share those notes, let's go to another descendant of Phalo. In the form of who? In the form of Rharhabe. Oh! Kuthiwa nguNtsinga kaNomagwayi wasembo. Kuthiwa ngusibala mdaka. Usambatha zimfutshane kanti zomlingana. Ngoba ezinto uthi zimfihla amadolo. Rharhabe, I will come back to Rharhabe. But the name Rharhabe, for you to understand the name Rharhabe, you need to go to Gcaleka. Otherwise, you're not going to understand it. Unless you are that old generation of amaXhosa who still know their names. Gcaleka will give you very properly the meaning of this name. Rharhabe means sharp or sharpened. Sharp or sharpened. Ubukhali. That's what Rharhabe means. That's why his praise name we say, Butsolo Bentonga, the sharpness of a stick. Come now. Let's go to Gcaleka. Let's go to Gcaleka. Let's look for the name Sharp. Let's look for the name Sharp. Let's see what we get. I like it. You see, this is Sharp. Haya, ta'a, tsaya, tse, tsi, tumna, kha. Kha means sharp. I repeat, kha or Xhosa. Xhosa is the one you find amongst Xhosa, the Xhosa peoples. Xhosa, the sharpened stick or the sharpened axe. Kha you find amongst Rharhabe. That's where the name Rharhabe comes from. Rharhabe, the man who's sharp. Ubutsolo. That's why when they gave him a praise name, they called him Butsolo Bentonga, the sharpness of a stick. In Gcaleka, the name is still there. Sharp. In fact, even in isiXhosa, when someone is very good at something, we say unoburharha. Even ubunganga. You see? So Rharhabe then gives birth to a son known as Mlau, the ruler. Mulau kaSisuthu, who died very fast. Rharhabe also gave birth to uNdlambe, who gave us amandlambe. Oh, amandlambe amatsha. Oh, hayi amandlambe amatsha. Kuthiwa inkosiyam ngumntu kaNdluzo Daka. Indoda ezalwa ngabantu ababini izalwa nguMakinana noNopasi. Bathi uNopasi yintombi kaMoni, umhlophe kaTshunqe. Ngumhlophe kaTshunqe kwabomvana. Nguluhadi igama lakhe. Umbambo zemka zabuyelela ngaphantsi kwelitye kuyoyikeka, kuba kaloku zilapha inzwana namadikazi. Kubani nongevanga ukuba sithwasile isilimela kwaNdlambe? Kaloku isilimela yona nkwenkwezi nkulu kwaPhalo. Bathi inkwenkwezi yokubala iminyaka yobudoda. Tsi! Azoke. Rharhabe gives birth to Mlau, who's the heir. He also gives birth to Ndlambe. Now, the descendants of Ndlambe are known as Amandlambe. I'm going to come back to them. But he also gives birth to Xhosa, a daughter. Xhosa is a daughter. This is Rharhabe's daughter. Xhosa is a daughter. And then from Xhosa you get to Nukwa. Unukwa is a man, Xhosa's brother. Unukwa gives birth to Gcaleka. Someone was asking about Gcaleka kwa Xhosa. Nanga Gcaleka. Nukwa is a man, the brother of Xhosa. Xhosa was given this clan to rule over because Xhosa was not, I think she didn't have children. So she ruled as a man. They talk about women empowerment. Oh no, the boy child is left behind. Hey guys, all black people are left behind, man. You guys just love to fight amongst yourselves. The boy child is left behind. Look at the real problem. Black people, all of them, are left behind. You think just a few girls who pass matric, it means things have changed in South Africa? Nothing has changed here. Just a few girls who pass matric, man. That's the outliers. It's not the average South African girl. The average South African girl is getting drunk and selling their body out there to foreigners. Like the girl who's trending right now, who went to some African casting and then they made pornography and they are selling that pornography. They are bloody selling her pornography. Where's the boy child who's left behind? Both the boy child and the girl child are both left behind. Both of them. You think girls are not left behind? You think so? You really think so? Come on, guys. You know how things are in the poor areas. You know, girls have to give birth so that they can feed themselves the social grant money. You know, boys have to go to crime so that they can eat. This was a woman, Xhosa, the daughter of Rharhabe. In the 1700s, already she's running the house, Baba. She's running the house. So the idea that, oh no, a woman cannot rule, that's complete lies. In the indigenous life, Baba, hey, we don't care if you're a woman or not. If you're supposed to rule, you rule. That's it. After Xhosa died, because she didn't have descendants, Nukwa, her brother, took over. And then Nukwa's son, Gcaleka, took over. These people ended up being called Gcaleka, especially these ones, from the line of Toise. Now, what is Toise? Let's look at, firstly, Gcaleka. Gcaleka is the same one you find amongst the descendants of Usosangane, Ugasa. It's not Gaza. People who want to claim, oh no, the real Gaza is in Southern Africa. No, it's not Gaza. It's Gasa. It's Gcaleka. No Shaka, bambiza, bathu Shaka wa Gcaleka. Izibongo zikaShaka, they allude to that. I think Gusogasa wa Gcaleka. What is ukugasela? Ukugasela is another way of saying ukuhlasela, to attack, to conquer, to rule over. Ukugasa. Ukugasa, to show intelligence and wisdom. So the name Gcaleka means ukuhlasela, to rule over, to conquer. Unukwa means the one who was suspected by Isanusi. Isanusi siyanuka. The Sanusi is the one who smells out. He was suspected of doing something. Wanukwa. Ugcaleka wahlasela. Utyatha is the Zulu word utyatha, to carry over your shoulders. Utyatha. Gosh, siyakhala ke manje. You have uToise. Toise, it's Toiseb. Toiseb. Today we say lungile. That's what Toise means. Toiseb, from the word which means good. Toi means good. Come, let's see. Let's go to Qinkia. Let's borrow from Qinkia. Qinkia, can you teach us what does Toiseb mean? Let's see if the Qinkia language has any clue of the word Toise. Let's see. I'm telling you, Toi is a word that means good. Toise means the good Lord. It's like the same thing as Qengeba. When you say Toise, you are saying Qengeba. You are saying Lunga. You are saying Lunga. I see people are writing the Umpuka Tois. Utoika Qeduma. Oh, even the name Qeduma, you know. Etoma. 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 Eduma. Let me show you something quickly. Let me show you something quickly. Let me show you something quickly. Whilst this loading. You see this? Ngawu. Ngawu Tuma. Some people pronounce this as Etuma. Ngawu Etuma. Some people pronounce this as Koma. Ngawu Koma. Ngawu Koma. It's this man right here. The actor of the gods must be crazy. His name was Ngawu. Oh! Tina City no Ngause. City no Ngause is the female version of Ngawu. You know no Ngause? Let's go back and see if anything has come. It's still loading, you see? Still loading. The word good. Let's see if maybe we can find a clue. I think let me just search Toise straight because it's gonna be too long. But yeah, Toise just means good, you know. Umntu olungileyo. Umntu olungileyo. But good means straight in our culture. Ukulunga means to straighten. Or to something that's been straightened. Ilungile. Man, I don't want tortoise, man. I want Toise. Just give me a second. I'm going to do Abatembu. I'm going to do them. Don't worry. I will show you the link between Abatembu in Eastern Cape and Abatembu. Or Kude, no Velas. I will show you the link. And they are linked to Kham peoples. Anyway, I'm not going to waste time. Toise means a good, something good. And then you have Dom. Oh, udom ka Toise madoda kumagasela. And then these are known as amagasela. They come from Amantsusa. This was a house that was initiated so that Ntsusa could rule over it. Ntsusa is going to rule over this house. And she did. Now, let's go back to Amandlambe. Ndlambe gave birth to Umdushane Nomkai. This is not the ancestor of S.C.K. Mkai, because S.C.K. Mkai is from Amazima. This is Mkai, the Xhosa prince, and Umdushane. This is the guy who was leading the armies together with Ngcele in 1818 in the Battle of Grahamstown, when they were fighting against the Xhosa genocide in what is called Grahamstown today. It was this gentleman. Ujali Gwakwamkai is not the same as Ungolosi. It's not the same as Ujali Wamabhaca. It's not the same as Ujali Wamabhaca. This is Ujali Wakwamkai. It's just a name. Umdushane Kandlambe. Oh, my God. And then there's another one, Ujani, and then there's Umala. Umala, gave birth to Makinana. Makinana gave birth to Umsintsi. Umala also gave birth to Mchachen, who gave birth to Siwula. Umala also gave birth to Smith, who gave birth to Hlatikulu. Umala also gave birth to Ngconde. Now, these are European names. Makinana is a European name. It's Mackinnon. It's Colonel Mackinnon. Smith is a European name. Smith. Ngconde is a European name. Calderwood. Why were these people named with European names? Even Yan is a European name. Let me see if there's another one. Why were they named with European names? Well, because the colonizers were already now there. The police, the armies. So they're named based on the names of the soldiers. They were not children of the Europeans. They were named maybe after a battle, you know how people, they fought with Mackinnon, or Mackinnon worked with them. Therefore, he named his child after Mackinnon. Makina, Smith, Calderwood. These are known as Amandlambe. They had a big battle with Amangqika, which I'm going to talk about, because Ngqika took this guy's wife, uThuthula. It was a big battle known as Imfazwe Yasemalinde. So now let's go to Ngqika. These people known as Rharhabe ended up being known as Amangqika, the direct royal line. Because from Umlawu you have Ngqika, from Ngqika you have Sandile, which we know is Alexander. Sandile is Alexander. Remember, I showed you that these are European names like Jan, Mackinnon, Smith, Calderwood. It's not just that. Even Ngqika's son, Sandile, is Alexander. They just didn't know how to pronounce it. From Umlawu, you also have Ntimbo, who gave birth to Anda and Bobozayo. From Umlawu, you have Ntimbo. Now, these groups known as Amandlambe, these groups, they are Amandlambe, but there's also from that line Amagwelane. I'm going to explain Tsomo. Yes, the place called Tsomo is named after a person, but the word Tsomo means a painful mouth. It means painful mouth. Tsomo means umlomo qaqambayo, umlomo odumbileyo. Tso is a word that means pain. It's a cognate to two. In Nkosiyamntu, it's tumo, instead of tsomo or tsumo. Two or two means pain, ukuthuthumba. Mu is a mouth. When someone doesn't use their mouth, we say it's a mumu. Mumu, that's a person who doesn't use the mouth, who doesn't talk. So tsumu or tumu in Nkosiyamntu means the painful mouth. It could also mean someone who doesn't talk, like usikhuluma kathethi. That's what tsomo means. It was a person, yes. Ngconde, yes, is named after someone who lived in the hill. Ngconde is a hill, actually. There was a mason on that hill, oqandulayo ngesiqandulo. That's why it was called Ngconde. Now, from Ngqika, you get to Sandile, who was named after Alexander. But Amaxhosa couldn't pronounce Alexander. They said Sandile. S.E.K. Mkai writes about this in the paper Imvo Zabantsundu. He writes about this, that Sandile was actually Alexander. Molo is Afrikaans, it's more. It's Dutch, more. And then in plural, it's morgen. It means morning, good morning. It's not our word. And then from Ngqika, you also get to Maqoma. Maqoma, the word Qoma means a stone. It's a big stone where lions like to come and, bask in the sun. The lion stone. It's Maqoma. Maqoma, his armies were known as Amajing. Jing was his what? It was his ox. But Jing means it's an alu. It's a type of alu. The people of Maqoma were called Amajing. Maqoma gave birth to a child known as Namba. Namba is what? Is a snake. Oh, Inamba, my daughter. Maqoma also gave birth to Ukona, to sin, to wrong. And we are happy. And Mapolice. Maporis. Jongomsobomvu. That's Maqoma. He fought a great deal with Europeans. But before that, he was used by his father, who loved Europeans like nobody's business. This one loves Europeans. Ngqika, he loved Europeans. They even lived in his house. Ngqika. That's why Gcaleka had to come and discipline him. Kwidabila semalinde. After he took and kidnapped his uncle's wife, uThuthula, because he says Thuthula is beautiful, and I met Thuthula when I was still young. But Thuthula is already married to your uncle, basically to your father. He went and kidnapped her. They fought. Kwidabila semalinde. Wabethwa wasakazwa. ngamabandla kaPhalo madoda ezikagcaleka Hintsa was not in hateful when he was disciplining uNgqika. He was fixing the country. Today nobody fixes the country. We must fix the country madoda. Fix the country. Take Penwell the black pen, deal with him. He will never say nonsense after that. Take DJ Sbu, deal with him so that they stop platforming racists. We stopped doing this now. He knew that he had to discipline this white loving guy. They beat him like nobody's business. Man died because of Ngqika. Ujotelo Kumachirha, the great grandfather of Soga, he was killed because of Ngqika. Unklebi was killed because of Ngqika. They were fighting a stupid war because of Ngqika. He loved Europeans. In fact, this guy was used by Ngqika. Many times he was watching Ngqika, giving everything to Europeans. He was introduced to alcohol by Europeans. Even this one was an alcoholic because of his father's affinity to Europeans. This one, his praises says, Gundlela ezimaqheke zebhotile, which means wherever he is, there's bottle glasses. There's bottle glasses. There's bottle pieces, glass bottle pieces. Because he used to drink alcohol. And it was a very weird thing to drink European alcohol. But ultimately he realized his father's mistake and he became one of the greatest fighters against Europeans. Umaqom. All he wanted to do was to fight with his own people. I don't understand him. Ngqika didn't mind the Europeans. He wanted to destroy these ones, Amandambe, every time. But guys, Ngqika. Ulwaganda kamlawo. And then he gave birth to Sandile, Amgolombane, and Umaqoma, Jongumsobo. And Uchali, his armies were known as Imingqanqathelo. From Uchali you get to Feni. Feni is a European name, Finn. It's Finn. The same Finn that went and met with the Zulu king, Ushaka. The same Finn who met with Ushaka. You see that Shaka Ilembe, there's a guy called Finn there. Yeah. He's the same one. He was named after him. Another child is Ungubezulu, Khotyani Nosibini. And then from the brother of Feni was Uoba, also called Ngonyama. Ngonyama. And Ujiba. And then another brother is Kokwe. And then you have Ukhokwe and Uanda. They also have descendants and all that. We'll look at that some other time. So these were known as Amangqika. Within Amangqika you had Amajinga. You had Imingqanqathelo. You had Amagwelane. You had Amandlambe. All of these are Amangqika. These are the armies of Ngqika. You had Amantsusa, Amagasela, Rharhabe onke. But from Usandile now, the main son was a man called Ugonya. Oh, kuthiwa avelile. Ikoko kanobantu, ezalwa ngunobantu. Eyona nkosi yamangqika selejonge kuyo phonoshono naphesheya kwenciba. Imbongi yesizwe ithi ngayo yimbishimbishi yingqishingqishi. Ithi ngumabhinqele ezantsi engawubhinqa isikhaka kanti ubhinqa ibhulukwe. Koko ezibhulukwe zimagwagusha. Ithi bezifuna uya kwezi kayisemkhulu bezifuna uya kwezi kaGonya. Kuloko ezikaGonya zimagwashu. Bathi inzinzilile umntwana enkosi. Ngesaphula abantu kube bebelekwa. Kuloko into enkulu ithwashuzwa ngokwayo. Camako. These are Rharhabe, guys. We are not done. We are still talking about Rharhabe. Ugonya, his brother was Ugumna and Umathanzima and Ubiset. Biset is also called Ubisi. Ubisi. That's a European name. That's a European name. Someone is asking, what does Sochachoba mean? It's actually Sochachoba. I will explain what it means. Sochachoba. It means Nkosiyamntu. So Rharhabe means Nkosiyamntu. I will show you something. Just give me a minute. Okay, it's fine. Let's go to Nkosiyamntu. Let's go to Nkosiyamntu. I want to show you the etymology of Rharhabe. I will show you the etymology of Rharhabe. So Rharhabe comes from, yes, so Rharhabe isilo. That was the title of Uyinza, by the way. And he's the only one that I know in history who had the name Uso Rharhabe. Because Uso means father or above. Uphiwe lo gama. Chamagu. Nkosiyamntu leyo. So Uso means father or above or Lord. Rharhabe is Gcaleka. 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 Let's do this. Let's do this. I hope it's here in Kora. Yeah. You see in Kora, this word, Gcaleka. Gcaleka means a chief, a lord. Gau means to rule. Ugawusha. Sithi ugawusha. For example, we have Benjamin Nyango. Gaushi Gcili. Gau Gciri means to rule over the Orange River in Nkosiyamntu. Gaush Gciri. Igaushi Gcili. To rule over the Orange River. Gcaleka. Gau is to rule over. Gcaleka is a man. Gcaleka, Khaba, a circumcised man. Likau in Setswana, a circumcised man. Gcaleka. So when you say so Gcaleka is the Lord of all other lords. For example, here the chief's deputy is Ngakama Gcaleka. Ngaka means under, below. So Ngaka, under, ma is to stand. Gcaleka, the chief man. Ngakama Gcaleka, the one who stands below the chief, a deputy, a prime minister, basically, like Ugaja KwaZulu. That's what Gcaleka is. It's a chief. Let's look at another one. You see here, Gcaleka is the government itself. Ugawusha or Ugauba, Ugweba is to rule. It's law. Gcaleka or Gcaleka, it's a chief, a ruler, a judge. Gcaleka is the judge's right-hand man, advisors, the councillors, amaphakathi. So Uso Rharhabe, therefore, that's what it is. The one who's above all the others. It sounds like Gorha. Yes, it's the same thing as Gorha. Gorha is Gaucha. Gaucha. Gorha, Gweba, Gausha. It's all the same. They have to do with bravery and leadership. I'll show you now, Jong. Let's see. It's not yet what I want. I hope it's coming. It's coming. I'll show you in Nkosiyamntu. I'll show you Gaucha, what it means. In Nkosiyamntu, they have the word Gaucha, which is in isiXhosa, Igorha. It's a chief. Gau, it's a chief. Gauchau, it's a chief. Or Gauchaba, it's a chief. So if you put So Gauchaba, So Rharhabe is the chief of all other chiefs. That's where So Rharhabe comes from. Nazok. Now you have Usandile. Usandile Gumgolombane. Mgolombane. His daughter married a prince of Amampondo. The prince is known as Usitata, the beam of light. Now I want to go back to the Gcaleka now. Remember, we spoke about Phalo. Phalo gave birth to Gcaleka and Rharhabe. These are all Rharhabe. Now we're coming to Gcaleka now. From Gcaleka now, before we go to Gcaleka, there's Uluchaba, there's Unqito, and Mugwebi. Mugwebi is the same as Gaub. Gaub, a chief, a ruler, a judge. You have Gcaleka. Gcaleka means the one who's full of fury, easily angered, short-tempered person. Gcaleka was a Gcaleka. He had a calling by the waters. He drowned in the river Ngconde. He drowned in the river Ngconde, just above Kwenucha. Just above Kwenucha river. He drowned. Gcaleka. Let's go to Google Maps. I will show you the river where he drowned. Excuse me. Let's go. I will show you the river where Gcaleka drowned. Gcaleka didn't have very strong health. Unlike his brother Rharhabe. He was not very healthy. He was always sick. Kanti uyagula. Ugula ngokwesintu. Now, let's just check here. The rivers. Let's just check here the rivers. There's Kolocha, there's Gcaleka, Kwichweba laseNciba, there's Amathole, there's Ngconde. Yeah, Kwenucha is here next to Ngconde. They must remove this nonsense of East London. There's no East London here. Kugombo up. Kugombo. Anyway, Kwenucha should be somewhere here. I hope. This is Ngconde River. Kwenucha should be above that. This is Ngconde River. You know Ngconde means buffaloes. Ngconde means where there was a battle. Battle. Ngconde means buffaloes. Buffalo River. And then which one is this one? What river is this one now? Why are they not writing the names of rivers? These people. This is Ikwenech. Okay. And then which one is this one? I just want Ngconde, nothing more. Okay. Looks like we're gonna have to do some looking first. You have Sunrise on Sea. That's where the ship in 1593, the Portuguese ship, it was wrecked here. Then you have this river here, Gcaleka, which means full of alus. That's what Gcaleka means. And then you have, let's see if there's another river. I don't see it. Let's look. Today, guys, I'm taking you through it. I'm showing you how you get information and how you solidify indigenous information. You use the tools that are available. There it is. These things are still there to this day. Just because they are not taught at school doesn't mean we can't know our history. Okay, I'm not sure which river this one is. This is Xhosa. This is Xhosa River. This is Xefani. I just want Ngconde, man. This is Kwenucha again. Second Kwenucha. Maybe I should just search for Ngconde straight because I don't have much time. Ngconde. Oh, Ngconde, my daughter. Okay, that's a village called Ngconde, but the village is literally built on the banks of the river. So if you can see, there's a river passing here. This is a village called Ngconde, but if you can see, there's a river. So that's the river called. That's the river called Ngconde. Here it is, because it's the village is built on that. So if we follow this river, we can see that it goes all the way to the sea. So, therefore, that means
People's Convention and a new constituted state.
that means Gcaleka was drowned in that river. I think it is this one here. I think it joins with other ones to give us Ikwenqucha. Yeah, it doesn't have a what? It doesn't have an estuary. That's why I'm confused. It doesn't have an estuary. So the Ngconde River passes through here. Aibo, what is this now? It passes through here, it joins and becomes Kwenqucha. So now, yeah, he was taken by the river. He came back as a Gcaleka. Wabuyisa isangoma. Gcaleka. He came back as a Gcaleka. This is one of the reasons he didn't get along with his brother Rharhabe, because Rharhabe felt like if Gcaleka is a Gcaleka, who can ever argue with him? Who can argue with Gcaleka? No one can argue with Gcaleka because Uli Gcaleka, you can't say he's wrong. You can't say he's wrong. Now Uluchaba he had what we call itola. I think he came back maybe after 3 days. I'm not sure. It's there in the book of Soga in Xhosa. That story is there. But what I wanted to get to that Uluchaba, his mother was from Emampondweni. This guy called Luchaba. His mother was from Emampondweni. Wayevela Emampondweni umama wakhe. Luchaba went back to Emampondweni. He got itola. Itola is what we also call it igogo, a rainmaker, the highest level of isangoma. Luchaba went and collected itola. His itola was very powerful. The itola died during a battle, but the itola resurrected at night. It's written down in the book known as Xhosa. Now, I assume that itola didn't really die, but when he woke up in the night, the itola, he was solidified as the best itola or high priest ever. Now, each prince and each king has his own high priest. So when Luchaba died, this guy was inherited, I think, by Ukauta or Wins. I'm not sure. Yes, Bisho also means a buffalo. In fact, in Kwinkia, Bisho means a wildebeest in Kwinkia, which is, it looks like a buffalo. Luchaba wasinga kulonini emampondweni eyakufuna ubuqi. Eyifumene ke le ntonga unikwe usigoxo limpondomise ukuze aphathe le ntonga xa kuliwayo. Yaza yakhangelwa ke ukuba yoba namathamsanqa na. There was a war called Imfazwe yeNgqungquthela, the Battle of Ingqungquthela, the Battle of the Armies. Iliwe eyeNgqungquthela nguluchaba noyisekazi noNgqika. Usigoxo wabinzwa amanxeba ali-10. Wafake yabeke iyagxothwa iyakwabo. Ubuye lo sigoxo impondomise wavuka ebusuku lomini hlambululu ukuze aseleba litola. Uthabathe intonga yobugqi nentshuntshe wahamba waya ekhaya se ukhona umkhosi emveni kokuba utyhaliwe yekaNgqika. Uphuphile ke usigoxo waxela izinto wathi kuyintsa umzi mawungenyuki uye eRhode akuyi kulunga. Waphika uyintsa emi yena usigoxo kweli yalithethayo lokuba umzi wakomkhulu mawugcinane nolwandle olunje ngesiko lawo kwaphambili. Yaba yincithakalo ukuba ukhe wanyukela ezintabeni. Usuke ke uyintsa waselefudukela eTsomo. Tsomo, remember, is one of the princes, but the name Tsomo means isimumu or a painful mouth. So uLuchaba had itola. His itola likaLuchaba was called usigoxo. Usigoxo wayisuka emampondomiseni, wayelimpondomise lasemampondweni. Now, ngamatolo kayintsa ke anga, usigoxo was inherited by uyintsa as itolo. But uyintsa also had another itola from emahlubini kumadladla. The clan name was Dladla. Itola likayinza yangugocini olihlubi lasemadladleni, ingusigoqo olimpondomise elisuka emampondweni. Usahili yena unyana kayinza elakhe itola yayingungqitho kancamba kavelelo kagcaleka. Elinye itola likasahili yayingubhomela kasothuku obethwase ngonomyayi bemxelela zonke izinto ezi emaphupheni. So the great priest of Uyinza was a man called Sigoqo. Sigoqo was from Emampondweni, but his clan name was from Emampondomiseni. Another great priest of Uyinza was a man called Gcini, who was from Emahlubini, from the clan of Udladla. But Gili's great priest was Ungqitho, son of Ngamba, son of Velelo, son of Gcaleka, from Kumavelelo akwa Gcaleka. Another priest of Ugili was Ubhomela kasothuku. Ubhomela, his animal was the crow, unomyayi, wayethwase ngonomyayi. Remember now, people abanye bathwasa ngengonyama, abanye bathwasa ngengwe, abanye bathwasa ngonomyayi, abanye bathwasa ngesikhova. Different animals that sort of like are the totem of, not totem, but rather, I don't know, the messenger of the people. So this one, his messenger was the black bird, unomyayi. So Amatola were like the high priests of the nation, because when Xhosa people are offering first fruits ukuyindla during the time of ulibo, they offer first fruits to these men, Osigoqo, no Gcini, Onqele, Obhomela, Ongqitho. That's where you offer your first fruits. You offer your first fruits to these high priests. I just wanted to touch on that. Next time I will touch on something called what is this? Amatola, like the whole thing of Amatola. Anyway, let's move. So you have Gcaleka, who gives us Ukauta. Kauta also met with Europeans. Remember, Europeans were not these strange people who didn't know. Even Togu met Europeans. I'm sure maybe Chawe might have met Europeans as well. Phalo also met Germans. Phalo met Europeans as well. Gcaleka also met Europeans. He also met Europeans. The idea that there were these Europeans who were coming we didn't know is complete nonsense. We knew these people. We knew them. So it's very important that we understand that. All right. From Gcaleka you have Amavelelo. That Sangoma Ngqitho was from here, from Ungamba kaVelelo, Velelo kaGcaleka. Amavelelo aphuma kuGqaba noNgamba. uGqaba uzala uDalasile nomdabuka. Ungamba ngungqitho kaSithatha, unoSithatha. Ungamba gives birth to Ngqitho gives birth to Sithatha, sorry. This is known as Amavelelo. Ngamagcaleka anga. So Amavelelo ngamagcaleka. Amambede ngamagcaleka. Amambede come from Unqoko. Unqoko, the son of Gcaleka. So Gcaleka had these sons, Ukauta, Uvelelo, and Unqoko. From Ukauta you get the Amagcaleka line. From Uvelelo you get the Amavelelo line within Gcaleka. From Unqoko you get the Amambede line within Gcaleka. Amambede aphuma kuNqoko. Unqoko ozele umgundu noKalash or Kalash. Umgundu who gave us Usigidi. This is another name of Ushaka, by the way. Umlilwano Usigidi. Do you realize that all these names of Ushaka, you also find them this side? Usigidi gave us Umathumbu, Nonganginyathi, not Dinizulu. KwaZulu not Dinuzulu. Thina is not Dinizulu. Yes, that's my point. I'm saying, but now I'm a Velelo. That's all. So you see, this whole thing of stereotyping each other, discriminating, is complete nonsense. Absolute nonsense. Gamambede, Gamavelelo, Amagcaleka, Ukauta. He meets with William Patterson next to the river Bicha. eQonce, eBirha, eMgwalana, in 17, I think 70. In 1770, Khauta met with a European for 3 days. Look for William Patterson, a botanist from Europe who came to collect plants for the king of Europe. Look for his records. He met with Khauta in 1770, I think. He wrote about that. Khauta now gives birth to Ubhuku and Uhinza. You guys, you know about Bhuku tea, ne? You know about Bhuku tea? Bhuku tea is an indigenous plant. It's like impepo, basically like that. But this Bhuku now, this one means big stomach. It's the same one you find amongst Amaqete, Bukhuma, people with big stomach, and also people who eat raw meat. Ubhuku leads a group of people known as Nkosiyamntu, one of the strongest armies of Gcaleka. One of the strongest armies were known as Nkosiyamntu. From Nkosiyamntu you get to Mapas and Xhosa. This is the first time I hear from the royal family the name Xhosa coming out. It came from the son of Bhuku, the brother of Hinza. Unyana kaBhuku nguXhoseni. uXhoseni gave birth to Ukiva. Ukiva kaXhoseni, a great warrior. A great warrior, Ukiva kaXhoseni. In fact, there's a little excerpt that is written about Ukiva kaXhoseni that I have somewhere here. Ukiva. This is a little excerpt that talks about Ukiva kaXhoseni. Kuthiwa nguSimangaye, ulunda lukhuni ludika abatshana. Kuthiwa ngumacongwana lushica ungavutha ulitye wasetsonyana kwaBhuku. Igwangqa elentsundu lukaXhoseni, inkunzi ekhonya phezu kweziziba zenyumake. Kuthiwa nguntaka edla ezinye kube dlumenziwa wamsukela embhashe ngonongxokozelo. Ngale mini kuthiwa yangqingwa kangangelizwe. Kuthiwa ungangelizwe ngokamthorharha kubathembu. Wadleka bhikitsha egwadana ngongca yechibi enongubo, ungubo kamalashe. Wathi uRhili benifunzwe ngubani na kuba mna andikalwi. Wathi Ukiva kaXhoseni izwe selifile emntwana enkosi. Phumela ubala, asinako ukulwela inkosi ehlele endlwini. Kuthiwa nguSiphuthume Rharhabe abuye aze elizweni kowawo kwaGcaleka. Kuthiwa nguPhuthume uSandile, kuba uPhuthume umgolombane kalwaganda. nguPhuthume uMakinana, kuba uPhuthume uMakinana undluzodaka kaMala. uMala ngumbodla kwaNdlambe. Simangaye. Ukiva kaXhoseni ke lowo. Ulunda lukhuni kungavutha ilitye wasetsonyama kwaBhuku. Nazoke. No, why? The name is Xhoseni. They wrote it wrong here. It's not Xhoseni, it's Xhoseni. I'm pronouncing the right name, not what is written. It's written wrong. And also, in the early 1900s, they didn't put H. So they've changed now, they put H now. So if this book would be written in 2025, this would be Xhoseni. This would be Bhuku, not Buru. Now, Umbune is a name that means, like apples and pears. These fruits that you bite once and already is yabuna. That's what Mbune means. Mbune means sweet things. That's the name Mbune. Sweet things. Nkosiyamntu ke lena. Now, another son of Ukhauta is uMalashe. Remember, there's Ubhuku, who gave birth to Xhoseni, who gave birth to Ukiva. But there's another son of Khauta called Malashe. Malashe gave birth to Ngubo. Ngubo gave birth to Mondile. Mondile gave birth to Khalisile. Ngubo kamalashe. Now, let's check if we have any records of Ngubo kamalashe, because he was another great warrior. Let's search. Maybe we'll find something about Umalashe as well. Ngubo kamalashe. kuthiwa uGampu kaMlenze, incwadi yenerhoba kamalashe, umthundezi weemazi ezinoqhonqa, ngumchangatshangiso umntakamalashe. Gampu kaMlenze. Oh madoda. Ugampu ke is something that's red. He probably looked yellow bone. Gampu means red or gambu, like gambu kanje. It's red or light skin. Kuthiwa ngumthundezi weemazi ezinoqhonqa. He's the one who leads the cows with zigzag backs. Uqhonqa means something that's not straight. Let's go to Qora and see if we can find the word uqhonqa. What is another name, Ngconde, for something that's zigzag? Hey, nah, I forget these things. I am planning on writing a book. I am. Irregular. I'm trying to find the word because it's here. Let's see, maybe it's gonna come now. Okay. You see, in Qora, Khonqa means deep. Let's see what Khonqa means. I'll find it. I know it's here. I want to show you that these Xhosa names are also Qora names. Something that's not straight, where I think it should be up. Maybe it's here. Khonqa. I'm taking you guys through the boring parts now of knowledge acquisition. Knowledge cannot just be the exciting things that we are the Kwe. Knowledge is not just that. It's also the boring things. You know. Maybe it's here actually. Maybe it's here. It's crooked. Yeah, it's crooked. There it is. Khonqa. Khonqa. This is and this is nga. Khonqa. It means crooked. What is this thing saying here? It says ungubo kamalashe ngumthundezi wemazi ezino khonqa, crooked spine. That is what ukhonqa is. Umthundezi wemazi ezino khonqa. The cows with crooked spines. Now let's go to isiXhosa. Let's check what ukhonqa is. Let's check what this Xhosa dictionary is too weak, you know. This thing, it will take 10 minutes. It will take 10 minutes to load something as basic as one word. But anyway, it's the same thing in isiXhosa. I'll come back and show you. It's a crooked spine. So this one, ungubo kamalashe, and this one, ukiva kaXhoseni, they worked together to fight in those wars of uNongxokozelo. In fact, they started the wars, but I think this one, uXhoxo, was hurt in that war. Princesses and queens. No, there's a lot of history on them. I think maybe I should do a live. I did touch on Princess Xhosa, but there's a lot of history on them. For example, here, Usandile was also called Soema because his first daughter was a lady called Emma. So he was called Soema, father of Emma. His second daughter was called Victoria. She went and married Amampondo, Prince Usitata. Sandile's daughter went and married the Prince of Amampondo called Sitata. Sitata should be the son of Faku. Yes, Sitata, who was funded by the colonial government to go and study in Lovedale, by the way. So yes, we do have princesses. I also touched on Umakoma. Sorry, this is another book. Umakoma, his first daughter was Utaselo, and therefore he was called Usotase because his first daughter was Utaselo. That's why he was called Usotase. Ebathenjini you have Usocotho and Usopicho because of his children. The daughter is Xhosa and the son is Picho. But his name is Undaba. But he was called Usocotho and Usopicho because of that. I will talk about the wars, but the reason why I don't talk about the wars is because the wars, we always talk about colonizers. We were fighting the colonizers, but before that, we were living normally. That's why I try not to talk about them. But yeah, this is Umalashe, this is Upuhu, who gave rise to Nkosiyamntu, who were the strongest allies of Uyinza. Uyinza then gave birth to a son called Kheli, or Sakheli, and a son called Umtikhakh, and a son called Ncaphai, and a son called Sichak. I think this one was named after Ushaka. Ngoba bathi uShaka nguSishaka Sishayeki, uSichaka. And a son called Lindinqowa. All of them were sons of Uyinza. Let's look at Usakhili. Let's look at Usakhili now. And by the way, guys, Uyinza and Ushaka knew about each other. In fact, Ushaka did send someone. Ushaka was demanding tribute from Uyinza. Ushaka. He was demanding cows from Uyinza, but I will talk about that some other time. He was demanding cows from Uyinza, that Uyinza must bow down before him, otherwise, blah, blah, blah. Uyinza was like, it's not happening. It's not happening. So, yeah. I'm trying to find the praises of Usakhili. Sorry guys, give me a minute. But yeah, Uyinza and Ushaka did know about each other. I don't think people know that part, but they did know about each other. And Ushaka Agiri, he wanted to rule the entire country. Ushaka wanted to rule Amampondo. He wanted to rule Amampondo Mse. In fact, he engaged with Amampondo a couple of times, not in person. His armies engaged with Amampondo a couple of times. Ushaka went as far as Ngconde Ngwanguba. As far as Phesheya koMbhasha in Ngwanguba. Uyabona? So yeah. Now I don't see the praises of Usakhili. Do you guys know how the praises of Sakhili go? Ufagu, remember now, Ufagu is the in-laws of Amaxhosa. Amampondo Mise nabaThembu. They are all in-laws to Amaxhosa, yabo. All of them. They are all in-laws. So anyone who deals with Amampondo will ultimately deal with Amaxhosa, yabo. That's just something that is inescapable. So he engaged with Amampondo, but his goal was to go as far as KwaXhosa. His goal was to go as far as KwaXhosa, yabo. And vice versa. True. Guys, I'm trying to find izibongo zikaSakhili. I'm not finding them. I'm struggling here. Izibongo zikaSakhili. Antaba. Ugwangqa. Oh, masithi impohlolo. Ugwangqa likaMpohlo. That is uSakhili. Yeah, I found them. The reason why I'm trying, this is the son of Uyinza, by the way. This is Yinza's son, Untaba. Ntaba. Kuthiwa ngusopasi. Ujukuye maphambili phofu engawasingisa emntwini. Bathi intsundu kaNomsa kaGambushe kwabomvana. Ungxowa inemilenze yokufaka amaduna kowabo. Ophathwa noSandile. Inamba enkulu ebhijeli hoyita. Ovoke mina kabonanga nto ngoba kayibonanga inamba isocombuluka. Ilunga legwaba likaYinza ngumagana indlezana. Umavile lunguza njengengci yengcuka kwabenduku kwamshweshwe. Kuthiwa yinqabe enkulu, isilo esingaziwa mngxuma, umdaka kayintsa, ngosaliwa ngaqubu esiswini, ugwebityala elisemva elibizwa yimbongi. Bathi ugwebityala likafeni walizinzisa. I think Feni is the one who was talking about uShaka. I think Feni is the one who was, talking about uShaka non-stop. Kube ngunqanawe zavalela amangesi, zaya zawakhupha kwaSomtsewu, Port Shepstone, ukuze amabhaca alwe namangutyana. Amangutyana ngamazotsho. Amangutyana ngamazotsho. I think this is Mama Winnie Mandela's people. Ngunyoka yobugqi ngumamlambo. Bathi nguzwelafa ngembiza zikaMbune. Nguzwelafa ngembiza zikaMbune. Nanku uMbune. Nanku uSarhili. Kuthiwa nguzwelafa ngembiza zikaMbune. Hayi, ngomona mamfengu wasegcuwa. Nguxakatha ugaga igwangqa likampohlo. Gxothani imantyi ziyerhini apho zibuliswa khona. Hashe elimhlophe ndim ndodwa na omdala ebantwini camagu antaba. So this is Sarhili. Hey, it's him when the cows started dying. You see, right now cows are dying with foot and mouth disease. Even back then, there used to be cow diseases. Some cows get killed, some survive. And then the Europeans started to use that for the whole thing of uNongqawuse. uNongqawuse was a child who lived with an older man, umhlakaza, ngamamfene oNongqawuse. Ngamamfene oNongqawuse. These are my people. They were not trying to destroy the nation of amaXhosa. There's no way. And there's no way uSarhili. Sarhili had his own igqirha. He had his own amagqirha uSarhili. He didn't need uNongqawuse to tell him anything. He had his own. Nanga matola kaSarhili. Ungqitho kancamba kavelelo kaGcaleka. Ubhomela kaSoThuku. But why would he need a 16-year-old child to tell him what to do? They think we are children, these ones. You think a 16-year-old child will tell an entire nation of Nguni men who are very stubborn to kill their cows? Aisuka, they think we are children, these ones. That didn't happen, guys. They just took advantage of Nongqawuse's name. uSarhili had a son, uGobanedolo, his oldest son. And then he had Ntsukumbini, and then he had Somakwabe. But his oldest son was uSigcawu. Nonqane. uSigcawu gave us uGwebinkumbi. uGwebinkumbi gave us uNgangomhlaba. These are the ancestors of the current kings, kwaGcaleka, oSigcawu. The current kings of Gcaleka use the surname Sigcawu. The current kings Rharhabe use the surname Sandile. uSigcawu, his brother was uDalasile, who gave birth to uLudwangu. uLudwangu, brother yakhe was uGudlulwandle, and uTeyi and uDimanda. Another son of Sarhili was uMcothama, who gave birth to uRhazukile. uMcothama had a brother, uShinyi, and uMarhamncu, which means beasts. Another son of Sarhili was uMtoto, who gave birth to uQanko. Another son of Sarhili was Sonwabo. This is the most modern sounding name. And Walongoku. Welendaba, I don't know what this one means. And then another son was Utingekai. This is amaGcaleka, guys. Do you realize that to talk about amaXhosa then uzwelendaba? Yes, uzwelendaba. This is amaGcaleka and amaRharhabe. This is amaGcaleka and amaRharhabe, who are both amaChawe. And then on top of that, I added amaCirha, amaJwarha, amaQwambi. And then on top of that, I added amaTogu. But there's so many other Xhosa people I didn't touch. I didn't talk about amanzoto, Onyelenzi, Omaphango, Ongqale, Ongqangengqangqasini, Ogquqa, oqham owele liyobe phambili impunzi ngasemva ngumtya nethunga kwe kwasemanzothweni kuthiwa hoyini bafazi bentsikizi le ntsholo nayiphazama nithabatha isidoda ngoma lihlatyelwe isifazi ziinkomo zikambiko zikamancamu zikamlawo ngamanzothwango sisizwe sakudala. I didn't mention them, but I will tell you today, these are the people of the star. Onzotho onyelenzi. Inyelenzi is a star. Nyeleti in Xitsonga. Naledi in Sesotho and Setswana. Nyelenzi in isiXhosa. Nzotho is a star, but Nzotho is also brown cows. Kham, when you say Nzotho, Kham means twins. That's why they have well and obabili. Kham means a twin. You also find Kham in the name of Khamela, which is a word for twin. Remember, Kham means two. That's what it means. We've done this before, guys. We've done this before. Kham means two. Kham means two. We've done this before. When there's two things, we say zikham or zingam. Two. Ngum, ku, qam, qam, qamche. All those words, qam, qam, qamela, qam, it's two for twins. But if you go to Qora as well, the same name as Amagcina, if you look for the name for twins, it's horena, amawele, welena, the hore people. But it's usually used for animals. Another name for twins in Qora, it's Gcina, amagcina, oqham, oqhamela. Same thing, emanzothweni. Xa uthi qham, you are saying twins. I didn't touch on amantakwenda. Takwenda. The people who left, takwenda, kwenda, kwe. It's people, ta. No, kwe, it's kwemos. Amantakwenda, ongcwadi. So you have amanzoto, you have amantakwenda. You have amankabane, ngamaXhosa. You have which other one did I not touch? Amanzoto, amantakwenda, amankabane. There's which other one? Now I'm 14. Amabamba, okhila. Hayi, amantakwenda awaveli Uganda, guys. Ngeke. Akho nto idibanisa amantakwenda no-Uganda apha. Ongcwadi. Okhwangeshe. Hayi. Akho nto idibanisa abantu nase-Uganda. I know that myth. E-Uganda, guys, bakhona abantu e-Uganda. This is not empty. Bakhona abantu abaganda. Bakhona. And many other people. They don't know untakwenda there. Okhwangeshe, omntakwenda, ongcwadi. Akho kwanto bantu e-Uganda. Luhlanga lomgquba elo. They are aboriginal here. Just like okhila, they are aboriginal here. In fact, okhila, you know, one of Khila's sons, one of Ngcele's sons had a daughter. The daughter married into Okhila, and one of the Khila people that I know is a descendant of Ngcele through his mother. So today I did the main groups of amaXhosa today. But akhona amanqabe, amagcina namayirha. Yinzala yabathwa that you will find amaXhoseni nakubaThembu. Amanqabe, amagcina namayirha, they are one people, those ones. Nqabe, gcina, yirha, same people. I didn't touch too deep on them. I'll touch on another time. Today, what I wanted to say is ngamaXhosa ke anga. All these groups that I mentioned, ngamaXhosa. You see how long it took? And it's not even enough. I just did half of amaXhosa. There's still many other groups that I still have to do. Kukho amagqwashe that I have to do. Kukho amasukwini that I have to do. Kukho izithathu that I have to do. Kukho amanqarhwane that I have to do. Kukho amaqoqwa that I have to do. Kukho amantakwenda, ongcwadi, okhwangeshe, oleta. Kukho amanzotho, kukho amankabane, kukho amakrila, amabamba. Kukho amagiqwa that I have to do. Ngconde? All of these people I mentioned are part of the Xhosa group properly. They are part of the Xhosa group properly. But now, the reason why I didn't mention them, they don't come from these bloodlines, the ones I just mentioned. They come from older bloodlines. Oh, Ngosini. They come from older bloodlines, other nations, Kora nations. Like, oh, Ngosini come from Kora, the Xhosa, the last people. Amabang come from Kora, the Binote peoples, the Chililib peoples, the elephant bean people. Oh, Chilib. You have Amaqete, Eitema, or Eite. You have Gwashu Ace, or the Gwashu peoples, the clay pot peoples. You've got Ngconde, the people with black and white, red and white cows, the bearded people, Ngconde. You've got Amagqunu. You've got Isithathu, the elephant river people. You've got Amaqhinebe, the eland people. The twin nation. Kamela nokuindla chopho ncancashi. Nqabe. And then you've got so Amachonyane. I'm still gonna talk about them, but it's late, guys, and I've been sitting in one place for hours. I'm done now. Thank you very much. Go and have a good Saturday. I know you guys want me to talk about your people. Amabomvana, I've already touched on them. Go to my YouTube channel. Let me share my YouTube channel for the last time. If you want to know about Amabomvana, if you want to know about Amampondo, if you want to know about Amampondo Mise, I've already touched on them. Amakesibe, I've already spoken about them. Please go to the YouTube channel. They are there. I'm signing out now. I'm tired and I need to rest. Usandile ke lona wakwamadzikane. Mina ngumuntu ukutheuka ngebulebi ethabeni. This is my channel. This is my channel. Next, now I'm going to talk about Abathembu, and then I'm going to do Amahlubi. And then I'm going to do Amazizi. That's where I will touch on Omiya. I'm out now. Someone said I didn't talk about Abaputi. I will talk about Abaputi. Lami gigumputi. Lami gimputi by blood. Ngigumutfu wekutheuka ngebulebi ethabeni. Ngigumutfu wekuncola ngemhluti matiyansa kona. Ngigumutfu wekuhwala emgodleni. Ngigumutfu wekupheka itipempem ngeqhakuba ngenqawana. Ngipheka tipempem letiqhakuba ngenqawana. Ngincola ngemhluti matiyansa kona. Ngilitsetsa mina ngilivuladlela. Kuhlathi ngujamba sengulisa ngumsuthu ngucanzi usakahla ngomvelo usidulu ngube emhlophe. Uzaba mfene mazabuyo zabela abafokazi. Umalelelwa izintombi zithi mfundi nekawundizeke. Umzukulwana ke emaphehleni kocabasho ngomozibomvu. Into zakulo ibeka wakulokana odika nolibisi. Umzukulwana emanhlaneni kodla konqabane. Ongqungqusho oziqeleka zihlamba wabenda amanzi ekhona. Lesisukuzuku ke mina ikonyawuza uthahle kandayeni. Wena uhlamba ngobende amanzi ekhona. Into zikafaku, into zikamthwa, into zikasiwula. Lesisukuzuku ke mina ke kumangqosini. Othithiba, onozinga, ondoko. Abantu bomlambo omenyezwa. Kudwambo kodwa emnyama kaThikolotshe eqengeleka isehlise enyuka phezulu komlambo igqili. Ndibuye ke mina ke nicamagushe kokhokho bamamagcina oncancashe. Omalamba endle, omalamba edlile amadoda abadli igusha zabantu bathi ziziduli zethafa. Ndiyacamagusha ke kodlamini ongxibi noboya, kofakade, kokhokho bamabo. Ndizicamagu ke kumagiqwa. Tshinga ikhwazi ukhwaza ngabayaziyo ngonkosana bomva bayikhethi lomnqayile inqindi. Kumamam ke intombi yasemanzotweni nonyeleza umaphango ongqalo nqanqinqa sinoxoxo qhamo welelo bephambili buza senyuto thungo lasemzini. Oyini bafazi bentsikizi lentsholo nephazama nithabatha isidoda ngoma lehlatyelo isifazi ntsiba nkulu kayithu intaba kahili isiqa somile. Somele zona zintshaba. Ngumqwetho lowo ugwadela lowo unabele emntwini lowo. Ngumagatyana lowo. Komo zikambiko zikamancamu zikamlawu sihlobo sikakhawuta sihlobo sikaGcaleka. Makube Xhosa ke kubele xa sitsho siyanqula siyathandaza siyacamca. Siyacamagusha ke dede ubunqu kuvela ubumweka. Xhosa, thank you. It's gonna be on YouTube, guys. If you need anything, inbox me. I'll check it when I have time and I'll get back to you. Peace.